This is the warm-up then. You can see, well, the players are warming up just behind us. It's not too long until we do Chelsea v Spurs all over again. It's been what January has been all about, hasn't it? Jason, we're going to go into our 3 points for 3 points. The first one we're going to look at reflects on what happened in the previous meetings. Finish the game off if Tottenham allow us to. Particularly here, I'm thinking about the first leg of the League Cup semi-final when it should have been 4 or 5-0 at half-time. Spurs, a team that don't tend to start that quickly. So this is an opportunity, actually, for Chelsea to do this, get a couple of goals early doors.
Indeed.
Sounds really easy when I put it like that.
Doesn't it just, Matt? But do you know what, Matt? The way you just said it, it was actually that easy in the first leg of the semi-final here. And the chances that went begging were almost criminal, really, because the game could have been over at half-time, the tie, but it wasn't. And today's game is going to be really interesting to see how... We think we know the shape of the teams. We think we know what managers are doing. But it's also the approach. You can play... Look, I've seen Conte play here with a 3 at the back, with wing-backs high and wide, almost playing like wingers, and it's going attack. I've seen Conte play here against Manchester City a couple of 3 or 4 seasons ago when he was manager here, and it was a 5 at the back, a little bit like he did here. So it's also the approach, not necessarily the shape, it's the approach of the team, the attitude of the team. I think they'll take a point today, Spurs, and I think that Conte's got a bit of a scenario. What does he do? Does he force it? Because if they lose today, even though they've got games in hand, it does put us in a really, really good position. If they draw today, they can look back and say, OK, we've got the games. We can actually take advantage of that and really hurt Chelsea. If they win, of course, then we're absolutely talking game on. That top 4 spot is up for grabs. Hard to know, with the team he's got, how much belief he has in this squad. Chelsea team, there's times he's gone for it. There's times he hasn't. This Spurs team, really interesting to see how he approaches the game.
So that almost beautifully leads us on to point 2, which is to set the tone from the off. And you say there that Spurs would be happy with a point. Are you thinking, therefore, that Chelsea will not? And in terms of setting the tone, will want to come out quickly as they did here in well, certainly a couple of games that you can think of recently, and that was what really worked. Is that what it's about, or is actually a point not a bad result for Chelsea?
No, a point's a bad point, Matt. I really don't see it as a good point. Average point at the very best. It's a better... Right now, if you had to poll every single person in this stadium, right, and Chelsea and Spurs fans, who they would want to draw, I guarantee Spurs fans will take a point now. I guarantee they would. Bearing in mind, we've beaten 3 times already this season. So a point is a good point for them. And they're looking at the league table. Arsenal have dropped points today. They drew. They've seen themselves pick up points late on against Leicester, which is a massive 3 points for them. Bearing in mind the game was over. They'd lost the game going to injury time. Man United picked up huge 3 points yesterday. Again, final kick of the game. And I think that they must be looking at this now. And it's hard to plot your way through because it never works that way. That football just doesn't operate in that way. But just looking at the way that who they are right now, they're happy to scrape into 4th spot, and a point today may possibly get them something really close to that.
Our final point comes onto the defence. We've seen Tony Rudiger and Malang Sarr amongst those warming up there. Keep a 4th clean sheet of the season against Spurs. It's very simple. If Chelsea do that, they at least won't lose the game. But it's about building confidence at the back again, isn't it? There was so much of it there at the start of the season when, admittedly, there were different personnel playing. But when you've got an unfamiliar, what we assume to be a back 4, all right, you've got 3 vastly experienced players there, but you've got somebody playing out of position, we assume, in Sarr at left back. Keeping a clean sheet, particularly with Kepa still minding the net in Mendy's place, that would give the perfect platform here today.
Yes, it would. And a clean sheet. Look, I'll always back us. Every time I come to Stamford Bridge, whoever we're playing, I always back us to win. Always feel, never go into games feeling, we're going to lose today. Yeah, there's trickier games. Of course there are. Man City, Liverpool. But I always come in thinking, you know what? That we are good enough to take 3 points. But there's one man on this pitch today that I've seen really, over the last 3 or 4 weeks, really start to become the player that we know he is, and that's Harry Kane. Keep Harry Kane quiet, because against Leicester midweek, he was excellent. I thought he was the best player on the pitch. I know Bergwijn got the man of the match, and for obvious reasons he did. But Harry Kane, he's getting the distances between dropping in enough to create chances, yet also being in areas where he can play the ball off and still be effective on part of that build-up. What he was doing under Nuno was dropping into it, and Jose dropping into areas where, even though he was part of the build-up, he couldn't affect the final ball. So he was coming into areas like the mid-third, laying balls off, doing that creative part, yet he was 15, 20 yards outside the box. It's like, how now there's a difference. Harry Kane is dropping into areas where he can be part of the build-up and also be part of what they hope to be at the end of it, which is going to be him. He looked sharp. He looked quick. He looked slim. He looked sharp. And he keep him quiet today. You go a long way to keeping Spurs quiet.
Yeah, playing for a manager who knows how to get the best out of strikers too. Just ask Romelu Lukaku and Diego Costa about that. Speaking of managers, how about this for a statistic? Chelsea unbeaten in the last 20 games they've played in the Premier League against former coaches. Everybody from Ranieri to Mourinho to Grant to AVB, Benitez, Ancelotti and Antonio Conte. They all look pretty fed up in that particular picture, don't they? That's just a quirk, isn't it? You can't actually read anything into that in terms of how the games unfold, or is it a case of, well, we know this guy's tricks?
Do you know what really is amazing there? Other than Benitez, every single one of those managers started here, and they're all like they come to the party a little bit late. And anyone that saw AVB manage here, how Spurs thought that was going to work is an absolute mystery to me. I'm going to tick the Jose box as well. How anyone thought the Jose was going to work at United and Spurs? I mean, people are getting paid millions for that. I could have told them over a cup of coffee. But there are managers in there that are top draw, and Antonio Conte is one of those.
Yeah, and it's his Spurs side that are the opposition today. Well, we're going to take a look now at a player who scored against Tottenham when the teams met in the league in the reverse fixture earlier in this season. The ageless, graceful Thiago Silva.
I think it's fair to say it wasn't our best performance against Brighton, but this man stood out head and shoulders. The best player on the pitch for me. Right place, right time. Rarely does he go to ground, and when he does, he knows he's going to win it. The ball's like a magnet, and it's no coincidence that every time this ball comes into the box, he's anticipating where it is. And this is something you can't teach. It's something that just now naturally is in his game. Spreading confidence around the back four, winning big headers at vital moments, including this one here in the centre of the box. But always in control. Just watch him here. He knows Rudiger has got the near post covered, so he hasn't got to go in and drop deep. He then comes off the edge of the 6-yard box and goes and wins a header, making sure Welbeck can't get there. Welbeck's first touch is a bit heavy. He knows that. Uses his body just to ease him out. Calm, collected, and wins the ball. Again, this time uses his body again to shield it. The keeper comes off his line. Edge of the box. I said to him, going to ground. The only time he does, he wins it. Maybe a little fortunate there, but again, using years of experience. But watch this one here. As the ball comes in Neil Mopai, he can get attracted. If he does, Trossard might make the run in behind him. He holds off, and in doing so, those vital seconds allows for the challenge to come in on the edge of the box. But he's not finished. Watch him in the centre of the picture. Goes and wins it again as Trossard comes in also. Passing, well, what can you say about that? Inch perfect, sets up an attack. He's been outstanding, and long may that continue.
Well, he's in again this afternoon, Thiago Silva, 37 years young. I wanted to have a look, though, Jason, at somebody who's going to be playing alongside him in the defence, and that is Malang Sarr. It's his birthday today. Turns 23. He can't have... I spoke to him at Manchester City last weekend, and he can't have believed that he would get the kind of action that he has. But he seems to be a trusted member of the squad now for Thomas Tuchel.
Well, that's what it's about. It's a great word, trust, because you can put players in. His first game was Brentford, and we're under some cosh there, by the way. That was a really hard-earned 3 points. Mendy had the game of his life, certainly second half. I thought first half we'd done very well, but defensively we were asked a number of questions. And Sarr stood up. And there's a little bit of personality from Sarr now. I saw him away in the second leg in the semi-final against Spurs at their place. Started to just show a little bit of something, I don't know, a bit of swagger about his game. stood up. There was a couple of challenges that come in, and I like the way that I can't quite remember who the player was. He's gone chest to chest with him. You know, it's, yeah, well, okay, I'm here. It's not, I'm lucky to be here now. He feels, I think, and interested to see how the game goes, but he feels now like he belongs. And I think it takes maybe 1 or 2 games for you as a young player to come in, especially a team like Chelsea, and not only just to kind of feel as though you're in, but belong and be comfortable. And that's why he's continued to play. The manager is trusting him.
Is he happy to be playing at left back because he gets a game, or is he thinking, actually, this isn't my natural position?
He's happy. He's happy. He wants, clearly as his game will develop, he's been brought as a centre half and has shown the qualities in a 4. I don't think we've seen him in a 4. You might be able to tell me differently, but I've only ever seen him in a 3 at the back. But the fact that he can play as a left back is his pace. The reason that Marcus isn't playing there is because of his pace, and he does. You know, when he's in control of the ball, he uses it sensibly. He doesn't take unnecessary risks. Like I said, there's a bit of swagger, there's a bit of personality in this game that I'm starting to see. But I think, in answering the question, he would probably be happier playing as centre-half. But look, when you're playing in a game like this, you'll be happy to play anywhere. Maybe not in goal, but you take nothing.
And finally, versatility is a good thing for a young player at an elite club to have, isn't it? Because you don't want to be coming here being rigid, saying, I'm a centre-half, I can't play anywhere else. Well, fair enough, you're behind 4 internationals before we get to you in that case.
Yeah, absolutely. And also, you know, we've seen managerial changes where Frank was predominantly a 4, yet could do a 3. And we've seen players suffer as a result because they may only be, in Frank's eyes, as a 4. Well, Sarah's proven that he can play in a 4 and a 3. So he's now starting to become, as a squad member, he's already got that, but a really attractive player that a manager can lean on. And look at what he's done, Tuchel, with him. He can play him in a 4, play him in a 3, happy to do both in big games. Don't forget, semi-final today, big games he's playing in. There you go, young man, go out and prove me right again.
So Sarr's in the back 4, picked by Thomas Tuchel. 15 minutes to go till kick-off here. High time we heard from the Chelsea boss.
Thomas, first of all, how beneficial was it for you and the players to have those 2 days off after the Brighton game?
For me, it was very beneficial because I had a dentist appointment and I got my tooth done, so very beneficial. And for the players, hopefully as well. I mean, it was absolutely necessary to have 2 days off, and now we have 2 days to prepare. The 2 days do not help for everything, but it was the moment, and hopefully everybody enjoyed it. But me personally, I'm always happy to be back in.
You mentioned the incredible run of games, Thomas. It was 18, wasn't it, in 60 days, which was remarkable. Did that provide challenges for you as a coach that you'd not faced before?
We played a huge amount of games in Paris because they also have in France 2 cups and also 20 teams in the league. But this was quite, I mean, unusual playing this amount since November, and we felt it. There's sometimes, which maybe is not so obvious to see or to understand, and no problem with it, but there's a huge difference sometimes having 1 day more of recovery or preparation, and you end up in having injured players and COVID and struggling with it, and you end up in a period of 60 days where it never stops, and you can never breathe. It gets more and more demanding. Nothing you cannot deal with, and it is our job and our ambition to deal with it, and maybe better than we did. But in the very last game, for the first time, I felt the team simply mentally tired. I felt them tired in the meeting before the match, and I struggled to blame them before, and I did not feel like to put my finger in it right before, because sometimes it can also be only my feeling and I'm maybe not right, but it felt like it on the pitch. So it was like this, and lesson is learned, and yeah, we had now 4 days in between the matches, and it's a big one anyway, so we need to be ready.
It is a big one, isn't it? We focus on Tottenham next, as you alluded to there, a team that we've become very familiar with in recent weeks. How big a game do you think this could prove to be, though?
It's a big one, always, because of the rivalry, and if you look at the table, which is quite confusing, you see that they have even the chance to overtake us if they win all their matches that they need to play. So it's a bit strange. It gives you the feeling that you are far ahead, and which we are obviously not. So we have to deserve it again. We have to refocus. We beat them now twice in a short period of time, and we will try to do it a third time.
Your record against them, if we cover last season and this, is excellent. Played 4, won 4. You've not even conceded a goal against them. Does that help psychologically when you're preparing for a match like this?
Me personally, yeah. Me, yes, but only a little bit, and that does not give us any edge in the game, but makes it easier to convince, makes it easier for the messages to be believed if we already did it together. And like you said, we did it. And we did it now in a short period of time. The two before were against different coaches, so we did it now in a very short period of time, and that gives us a certain belief. And from there you have to refocus and do it again, because it does not give us a goal ahead or 2 goals ahead in this very game. So the respect for the game must always be the biggest. And in a game of football, anything can happen.
Kepa has kept 4 clean sheets in 10 games, 3 of them against Tottenham, funnily enough. How pleased have you been with his attitude and his professionalism since he's come back into the side?
I'm very pleased with him since day one, and it's getting better and better. He is a fantastic team player and a fantastic character, and a very, very good goalkeeper. And I'm happy that he has the chance now to prove it, because Edu is in Cameroon trying to give the very best for his country. So this is only fair, and if he was a player out in the field, he would have had a lot of chances to prove and to get minutes and to show how good he is. And this is very rare opportunities for the goalkeeper who's competing from behind and who's in the competition with a number 1. So it's only fair that he has this chance, and I'm happy that he does what he's doing here on a daily basis.
Brilliant. Thomas Tuchel there speaking to Lee Parker ahead of today's game against Tottenham Hotspur. Back in the studio with Dan, we've let him in from the outside. Yeah. It's nice, a little bit of atmosphere as well, isn't there? Yeah,
it was. Everyone's in good spirits. Everyone's expecting a 3 points for Chelsea. So hopefully we can bring that onto the pitch. And I'm still quite confused as to what system we're playing, but I guess we'll see when the first minute goes. Yeah, we'll find out soon. We've also got Ben, who's still with us on Zoom this afternoon. So, boys, I'm going to get straight into it. We've got a quiz. Okay, we've got a quiz. So Ben, this quiz, Dan's good at quizzes, all right? Am I? Yeah, you've got a good record on this show for quizzes. So obviously it had to be about the main man, Gus Poyet, this afternoon. Okay, so these are all related to Gus. So who would like to go first?
I'll take it.
Yeah, let him go first.
Okay, Ben, I'll let you go first. Right, so Gus has played in this fixture 14 times. How many times did he score for us against Tottenham? Is it 3, 4 or 5?
Man, this is way before my time, but I'm going to go ahead and say 5. Your boy Gus used to bang him in.
He did. He got 3, I'm afraid. It's still a very good record. That's a very good return. Yeah. OK, Dan. Gus played for us 7 times against Tottenham. How many of those games did he win? 5, 6 or 7?
That was a time where we were dominant. I'm going to go with 6.
It is 6, bang on. And the other one was a draw, unbeaten for us against him. OK, Ben, how many times has he been on the winning side against us? 1, 2 or 3?
I'm going to go with 2. Safe choice.
Correct choice. Good work. Good work. OK, so it's 1-1. Dan, Gus has managed 2 English teams. Can you name either of them?
Oh, Brighton?
Yep. For a bonus point? No, I can't give you a bonus point. Who's the other one, though?
I'm struggling. Southampton.
Sunderland.
Oh.
Sunderland. OK. You need this one to stay in it then, Ben. Gus's father was an Olympic athlete at which sport? Basketball, shot put or marathon running?
Marathon running.
Basketball. Basketball. Very sporty family. Obviously, two boys, both athletes as well. So good work, Dan. You've absolutely smashed that. So,
good record.
Very, very quickly then. First goal scorer. Who are you going for, Ben, this afternoon?
I'm going to go Lukaku. I think he needs one. I think he's going to be fighting for a goal. I think he puts one in first.
Okay, I like that, Dan.
I would agree. I think Lukaku needs a goal. I think he'll get it today.
Let's see what the fans think then, shall we?
I'm hoping and thinking for a 2-1 win for Chelsea. Late winner.
Late winner.
Late winner. You heard it here first.
2-1 Chelsea.
Goal scorers?
I'm going to go with Kai Havertz and Jorginho from the penalty spot.
Brilliant. We love playing Tottenham at the moment, don't we?
Yeah.
I reckon it's going to be 3-0.
Yes.
Chelsea.
Yes. 3-0. Yes.
Yeah.
Goal scorers?
Mason.
Yeah, him.
Mason Mount?
Yes.
A good, strong, powerful game from Chelsea and a 2-1 win.
2-1 win.
2-1 win to Chelsea.
2-1. No, 3-1.
3-1 to Chelsea.
Werner to score last goal.
Hello and welcome to our coverage of the big one. It's Chelsea versus Tottenham Hotspur in the Premier League, live from Stamford Bridge. Spurs 8 points behind Chelsea, albeit with 4 games in hand. If they were to win here, they would move into the top 4. If Chelsea were to win, well, Tottenham would be much less of a consideration for the rest of the season. We're just seeing Antonio Conte saying hello to some old friends. The Spurs manager is out before everybody else, and he's just in the dugouts catching up with some people who he knew from his time at Chelsea. We are awaiting the emergence of the two teams then. Chelsea showing 2 changes from the side that started at Brighton, with Sarr in for Alonso and Kovacic for Kante. It means the Blues have Kepa in goal, Azpilicueta, Thiago Silva, Rudiger and Sarr. Then it's Jorginho, Kovacic, and well, you can work out the formation for yourselves. We'll tell you once the game gets going. But Hudson-Odoi, Mount, Ziyech, with Romelu Lukaku, the central striker. Tottenham make 4 changes, and we hear that they will play with a back 4. It'll be the first time that Antonio Conte has done that since that game at Arsenal in 2016, when he switched to 3 at the back at half-time, and the rest was history. The boos you can hear are because the Tottenham players are coming out. They have Hugo Lloris in goal, back 4, Tanganga, Dias, Sanchez and Davis. Doherty and Sessegnon out wide, with Højbjerg and Winks in midfield. Steven Bergwijn, the match-winning hero at Leicester in the week, is up front alongside Harry Kane. The Chelsea subs today: Bettinelli, Alonso, Kante, Pulisic, Werner, Chalobah, Saul, Barkley and Havertz. The replacements for Tottenham are Galini, the goalkeeper, Reguilon, Hill, Royale, Roden, Moura, Skip, White and Scarlett. The referee is Paul Tierney, and let's hope that that is a good luck charm for Chelsea, because the Blues have won all 4 games that he has refereed before. And now I'm Matt Davis-Adams. I've got Jason Cundy and Pat Nevin alongside me today. You heard Pat talk on the pre-match show about our old boss, Richard Bignell, who tragically passed away a couple of weeks ago. The Chelsea players are wearing black armbands today as a mark of respect to Richard. He was my boss for more than a decade. He gave me my job here at Chelsea TV, for which I'll be forever grateful. And more than being a good boss, he was a great bloke, lovely human being. Pleasure to spend time in his company. Like everybody else, I was absolutely crushed to hear the news of his passing. It doesn't feel the same here today. It won't do for a long time. And we miss him greatly, and we thank him for everything that he did for us. Jason, it's been a really horrible couple of weeks, but the players are paying their respects, as we are doing today, to our friend and our boss.
Brilliant boss, wonderful man, great friend. Rest in peace, Tricky.
So we are just about ready to go here then. A huge game in the Premier League. Chelsea will go within a point of Liverpool if they can pick up maximum points here today. Pat, what are you expecting approach-wise different from Spurs, given that they come into this game on a high, but with the knowledge that they've already lost 3 times to Chelsea this month?
I think they'll have talked about it before they come out, that there were periods in the 2 games against Chelsea, maybe particularly one up, you know, up at the lane, where they had bits of the game, you know, albeit for a couple of VAR decisions, they could have been back in that game. They'll try and take positivity out of that, but really we're inside their minds at the moment, and they have to get outside that situation. And a lot of people have said it, and I think it's as true this game as it is in any game this season. Whoever scores the first goal today, wow, what a difference it has. For Spurs, I think they need to. For us, I think we'd like to.
Jason, who's going to be key for Chelsea today then? We'll work out the formation once the game gets underway, but who are you looking for a big performance in blue?
Oh, gosh. I mean, instinctively, I'm looking at Lukaku. Instinctively, because, you know, you think that end of the pitch, there needs to be a little bit more from us. And I'm not just blaming him. I think us, I use the word us deliberately because we've not been good enough as a unit in that final third. There have been a number of passes, half chances, final ball, final cross, final shot, final whatever it might be. We've not been good enough in that area. Our build-up play actually could be better also. So I'm gonna dodge the question, and I'm gonna say right now, I'm gonna say we need to be better. As a unit, we need to be better.
The players of Tottenham and Chelsea, as well as their match officials and staff, will take a knee before the game starts to reinforce the message that there is no room for discrimination. And now Tottenham get the match underway, kicking towards the Matthew Harding stand in the first half. Of course, they are in their white shirts with dark blue shorts and socks. Chelsea in blue shirts and shorts with white socks. A little bit of mist descending as early evening turns into night time around West London. It's a crackling atmosphere, as it always is when these two meet. Chelsea versus Tottenham. As we expected then, it is 4 at the back for the Blues, and Thiago Silva has the ball at the moment and works it out right-hand side to Azpilicueta, and then Ziyech flicks one down the channel. It's a good ball as well for Mason Mount. He's just about kept it in. Mount up against Davinson Sanchez, looking for Lukaku inside the penalty area, who had a volley from about 12-15 yards out. Ball was played just behind him. Wasn't an easy chance by any means, but it's a good chance in the first 30 seconds of the match.
It absolutely is, but maybe your point, the first 30 seconds, is Romelu not quite up to speed yet. It's behind him. It's hard, but he'd want to get it on target, wouldn't he?
Yeah, it's on his weaker right foot as well, and it kind of bounces into him. It's not on... If that's on his left foot, I'd be far more critical. But having said that, really brilliant ball from Ziyech. Beautifully pinged, wonderful weight of pass, which I've been critical of him of late, but also stretching their back line early, asking questions of that back 3 or back 5, depending on... They're more of a back 3 right now, where the game before, they played a 5. It was shameless. It was a shameless back 5. Right now, you look at where the wing-backs are, they're a little bit higher, being a little bit more ambitious.
So Chelsea, as we hoped, have started the game on the front foot. 19th match since the November international break in all competitions for the Blues today. Jorginho on the ball, moving it forward to Ziyech. He's done well to keep it away from Davis. What a start he's had.
By the way, Ziyech, this is the best start. I know we're only 2 minutes into the game, but he looks up for it and on it.
He's got the one for the foot out today, has he? By the way, I think we're more of a 3 at the back, 4 in midfield, kind of like we always have been before. I think Espy's pushing on, and Callum Hudson-Odoi's the left wing back this side.
Yeah, it certainly looks that way, doesn't it? Hudson-Odoi into Kovacic as those two look to link up, but unfortunately it breaks down, goes out for a Spurs throw in their right back position, which Tanganga will take. I wonder if Antonio Conte assumed that Hudson-Odoi was going to be playing left wing back as well.
I did.
That does not surprise me. Bergwijn with a layoff as Doherty looks to get over halfway. He's played it into Kane, and he tries to set Bergwijn free, but Rudiger was there and is able to move it back to Kepa, who under pressure from Bergwijn can launch it up to the halfway line. 0-0, nearly 3 minutes play.
Do you know that ball that Kepa just played there? He's lofted one up towards Ziyech there. And Ziyech just thinking, cheers, mate. Yeah. Zip it into me, please.
It's not really his game. He doesn't really want that, to be honest, you know.
As a defender, you'd love that. You just come right over the top and give him a bit.
Chelsea with the ball on halfway, played into the channel for Lukaku.
Oh my gosh,
to run
Ziyech is
out
on it, by the way.
Brilliant from Ziyech again.
This is the Ziyech we saw at Ajax.
Lukaku back to Mount, inside the penalty area, trying to turn away from Davinson Sanchez. Goes back to Lukaku. Here's Ziyech, pointing to the penalty area, left-hand side, floating in for Hudson-Odoi, who had a decent headed chance from inside the 6-yard box. Had Tanganga there for company, couldn't get the connection he was looking for, and it goes behind for a goal kick.
Well spotted, Jess. Well spotted. First touch, you've seen it, and every touch he's had since there. It's the one, doesn't it? It's brilliant.
This is the Ziyech that we saw. Pinpoint accuracy, being brave with your passes as well. You know, really dominate. We've not seen Ziyech in a Chelsea shirt be the best player on the pitch that I can think of. But now there's a swagger. Oh, here we go.
He's just pinged one right to left out to Hudson-Odoi, level with the edge of the penalty area. Down the line for Kovacic. Near the dead ball line, goes back to Hudson-Odoi. Jorginho waiting for a square pass if he wants it. Hudson-Odoi looking for room for a cross instead. Couldn't find it, so he slid it across to the lively Ziyech. Ziyech up against Højbjerg, moves it out right-hand side for Azpilicueta. Back with Ziyech again. Gained no room for a shot, so he goes back to Azpilicueta. Overcomes his cross, too deep for Lukaku, headed away by Tanganga. And then back in by Rudiger, but straight to Højbjerg, who is almost dispossessed.
Winning balls in the middle of the park.
It was Winks, I beg his pardon, who was dispossessed, and eventually Mason Mount gives away a free kick.
Very harsh indeed. I think, you know, we know that Thomas wants us to close up a little bit higher, don't we? And we started it. Romelo's doing it right away. Mason does it anyway, but we are putting them under pressure at the back there. They're not great in the ball. We're back through.
Eric Dyer hits one right to left out to the channel looking for Ryan Sessegnon. Ball went over his head and Azpilicueta's, and then Sessegnon had a heavy touch that went behind for a goal kick.
Just looking at what Pat spotted earlier about the fluid back 3, 4, whatever you want to say, very clever, you know, and this is something that takes effort and time on the training ground, and also with computers, the way that they are now. But Chelsea are playing a back 4, but it's not. In possession on one side, wherever the ball is, so Sarr will be ultimately a wing-back, depending where the ball is, and can he get away with it? Sorry, Lukaku up there. Okay, I need to pass over you, Matt, sorry.
Here comes Kovacic, left-hand side, out to Hudson-Odoi. Again, level with the edge of the penalty area, up against Tanganga and Doherty. Hudson-Odoi slides it back for Jorginho, 30 yards out, rolled it across to Ziyech. He can have a shot, deflects off Davis behind for the game's first corner. All Chelsea here.
Pat, good start, matey.
Yeah, brilliant start. By the way, the point you're making there is absolutely spot on. I talked to someone in Chelsea Technical about 10 minutes ago, and I said, I'm really interested to see what system we're going to play. And he said, maybe systems. So you're spot on, Jace. You've just nailed it.
It's very clever. But listen, let's call the player.
Ziyech is the man who's going to take it, but not until Paul Tierney.
Odd setup where we've set up all our players from a corner near post. Very weird setup.
There's a whole bunch of players just inside the penalty area. 5 Chelsea boys there.
From post? Weird.
This is going to come straight off the training ground. Now the whistle blows. Some wrestling going on in the 6-yard box. Over it comes. It's loose and straight into the gloves of Hugo Lloris in the end. 7 gone, 0-0.
Oh, I don't know what Lloris has done there. That's just, honestly, you're under the cosh. You're 7 minutes in. You claim a corner. Get high up the pitch. Slow the game down. He's looking for Bergwijn, who's a 3v1. Talk about handing the ball back to Chelsea.
Hudson-Odoi is the player who's picked it up, and he's gone back to the birthday boy Malang Sarr, 23 today. Thiago Silva, a few years his senior, moves it on to Tony Rudiger. Now here's Azpilicueta. He'll move it out to Ziyech. Back with Azpilicueta again. Didn't miss a minute when Chelsea won the Premier League title under Antonio Conte. Silva moving it on for Sarr. Sarr out for Hudson-Odoi. Trying to get away from Tanganga. Bit of a crude attempt to try and stop him from Tanganga, and the referee didn't like it. It's a Chelsea free kick on the halfway line.
Do you think that was crude or just a very good rugby tackle?
Thiago Silva moves it on to Azpilicueta. Now here's Ziyech again, right-hand side, 5 yards over halfway. Goes back to Rudiger. Tottenham have hardly had a kick of the ball in the opening 8 minutes, but it's still 0-0. Hudson-Odoi and Lukaku have both had chances for Chelsea. Hudson-Odoi plays it infield for Jorginho. Clever ball from him to Lukaku. Lovely touch off for Ziyech, and he tried to work it through to Mount. But Sessegnon got back and turned it behind for another corner.
Finding spaces, isn't he? He's finding spaces here. Every single time. So he can't get it on his left foot to put a thing away there. But at some point, he's gone. He's absolutely going to have a shot goal.
Joe up back for a split second, the pass was on, and then it changed. But he's tried it anyway. We still get the corner.
He is going to take it himself again. Hudson-Odoi is lurking edge of the penalty area here. Players clustered round the penalty spot. Over it comes toward Thiago Silva, who got his head to it, but couldn't keep it down.
Just watched Liverpool score with a header from Van Dijk earlier on today. Not dissimilar position. But we do look dangerous from those positions, don't we? I mean, obviously, Tony Rudiger is dangerous. Thiago Silva is dangerous as well. It's all about the delivery, and that one wasn't bad.
Ball played out towards Bergwijn, but Rudiger can put that in the stands under pressure.
So just looking at where Doherty's playing right now. Doherty's not...
It's interesting, isn't it? Because
he's playing right wing.
Chicken and egg, isn't it, between him and Callan? Who goes, who stays?
Yeah.
Are you going to come with me? You're going to come... It's really clever.
So Tanganga's pretty much right back. Again, it's a very similar system to Chelsea right now. So the 4 and the 3 and the 5, depending what it is. But they're doing... Both teams are doing something similar.
Here's Kane trying to roll away from Jorginho, but couldn't because he was being fouled. Free kick about halfway inside Chelsea's half, inside left position. Harry Kane, the man for London derbies normally, but he's not got a great record against Chelsea of late. No goals in 7 against the Blues.
Davies is a right wing back. He's not a right back. He's simply not. Can he do a job there? Yeah, but that's not who he is. But he's playing high, wide and right as far as you can look at. When they've got the ball, they are a 4.
They're having a bit more of it in the last couple of minutes, are Tottenham. Here's Eric Dyer, now regularly installed as a centre-half. Lukaku had a nibble, couldn't get the ball off him. Dyer goes past Jorginho's challenge, and then Sarr almost underhit his pass, and then Dyer just crumples on top of Jorginho and gives away a free kick. Well, Thiago Silva it was, I beg his pardon, gives away a free kick.
If he bypasses Dyer, they're out. They're in a bit of trouble, and the pass doesn't quite reach its target. And Dyer then knows he's out of position, and then decides to give the foul away.
Up against, made room for the shot. Oh, and it bobbled up awkwardly in front of Lloris. It must have done, because that's why he fisted it away rather than catch it. It looked a routine save for the Tottenham goalkeeper. Eventually placed up.
He's everywhere, isn't he? He's looking phenomenal just now. The ball just goes away there. No, the referee's letting it go on. I don't think it was deliberate, but you know, his arm came up. And
I have to see it again, Pat. Yeah. But whenever CS has got a step over, a roll of the foot over the ball, he's just... The word swagger springs to mind. That's what I'm seeing right now. He just looks like he's got a little bit of something to prove and show.
And that was what was so bewitching about his performance here for Ajax, wasn't it? In that unforgettable 4-4. Sarr wins a header against Doherty. Meanwhile, Antonio Conte just down below us applauds the effort of his players. Japhet Tanganga has got the ball in his hands, ready to take this throw in. Chucked it into the chest of Bergwijn, and eventually goes out again for another Spurs throw. Antonio Conte outside of his technical area. Thomas Tuchel too, two of the busiest touchline managers in the Premier League, going at it today. Here's Kane, who hooks the ball over his shoulder onto the head of Azpilicueta. He nods it forward up to halfway. Lukaku did brilliantly to win it against Sanchez. Unfortunately, Ziyech couldn't quite get to the loose ball ahead of Ben Davis. And Davis crosses halfway over on the far side, the left. Oh, Ziyech has done fantastically to get the ball off him. Thought for all the world he was going to give a free kick away, but Tottenham have got it anyway. Højbjerg looking to play it into Kane. Dispossessed though, and now Chelsea have it back with Hudson-Odoi. Hudson-Odoi careering over the halfway line. Got 2 Spurs players around him. One of them was Kane. He managed to get the ball back. He's done really well there, Harry Kane. Keeps it in play on halfway right-hand side. Played it in field to Harry Winks. He breaks past Jorginho and Kovacic. Winks up to the edge of the penalty area. Going to have a go. Kept it low. Kept it too close to Kepa. Comfortable save, but a shot on target.
Efficient from Kane there. Gets the ball off Callum Hudson-Odoi. Defends much better. Missed tackle there in the midfield, but they've come into the game a little bit more, but they're still looking a little bit side. But last moment from Ziyech. Do you know what? Every time he's got the ball, he's done something really interesting with it. Give him a ball until he's sick of it now. That's the thing. Yeah. Don't let it ride now for 20 minutes without him getting the ball. get him out as soon as you can.
Absolutely, keep feeding him. Even out of possession now, he's doing something that is not naturally, it doesn't come to his game. It's not naturally something you see, but the work ethic right now when he's on the ball, he's been okay. We're only 13, nearly 14 minutes into the game, but he's been the most influential player. But brilliant work from Harry Kane, chasing back here, again doing what we spoke about Ziyech did. You know, selfless work, setting up an attack. And the problem they've got is when he drops the deep, he's not in the box, and you want Kane in the box.
Here's Ziyech again, nods a header down for Azpilicueta. Jorginho now 30 yards out inside right position, winks in his way, gave it to Mount, back with Azpilicueta, who crossed from deep toward the back post, looking for Hudson-Odoi, flicked away by the head of Tanganga at the expense of a throw.
Have a look at Romelu Lukaku in the middle there. Bigger claws out. Look, the balls are coming in. We've got 3 or 4 in from the right-hand sides. Keep on putting them in there. The big man will get his chance.
Yeah, something we've not done enough, Pat, of late. But just watching Lukaku there, when there is a 3 and Chelsea have been out of possession, teams that play, in possession against teams with a 3, they become very narrow. And he's found it very difficult to find space. Right now, he can kind of isolate a defender. I prefer it beyond Sanchez than Dyer. Right now, I prefer the crosses come from the left-hand side. But either way, at least there's a little bit more encouraging. Oh, dear.
Sanchez has just sliced the clearance up into the sky. Unfortunately, Mount couldn't quite bring it under control. Smith then moves it out to Sessegnon.
Great closing down.
Chelsea managed to win the ball back. Mount on halfway. And then Sessegnon briefly had it, and then it goes out of play for a Chelsea throw off the Spurs defender, apparently.
Hunting in packs there. And sometimes when you hunt in packs and there is a by-press and they get beyond 1 or 2, you've then got to be brave with the press. You can't pull out of it because you've committed, and you see that there, just over on that right-hand side. Spurs didn't quite have the players in the areas they wanted, but great pressure, really forcing the issue.
Rudiger looking long here for the run of Mount into the right channel. Nice first touch, just got away from him. He might be able to get it back from Sanchez now.
What
and
a
then
first
he threw his body in the way
now,
to win the corner.
Pat would have seen far more balls than I have. Pat, that ball over the top.
So it's over his shoulder. It's like quarterback in American football. Put it over the top of your shoulder. It's coming from behind you, but he still gets his toe and he's at full speed. That's brilliant by Mason Mount. And by the way, the energy of the run anyway, in that inside forward position, brilliant run.
Corner again to be taken from the far side, the right then. It is Mount who's going to take this one. A bit of pushing and shoving involving Doherty and Lukaku in the middle. Again, a cluster of players around the penalty spot. Jorginho edge of the 6-yard box. Again, referee wants to have a word with somebody about something. It's Tony Rudiger and Eric Dyer who are having a push and a shove.
Always have a word with somebody. It's usually Aspie. Tony this time.
Right then, Mount can take the corner now. 0-0, 17 minutes on the clock. Mount with the out-swinging delivery, headed away by Sessegnon near post, and Bergwijn will look to lead a Spurs break here. He managed to get it away from Hudson-Odoi. Hudson-Odoi closing him down, but Bergwijn manages to keep it in play, showing a bit too much of it to Kovacic, who goes to the ground, knocks it out for a throw.
Good cover, really good cover there. Comes across Callum, and he knows he's got Callum. Perhaps he made Bergwijn's mind up a little bit by having that touch out of his feet, but in the end, maybe he knew that Ziyech again. Honestly, Ziyech, he is on absolute fire right now. We're in and out of possession. He really is at it. This is the best start to a game I've seen Ziyech have.
Yeah, he's just won the ball back. Now he's got it at his feet again. Gave it short to Mount. Now Kovacic over halfway, middle of the pitch, looking for where Lukaku's running. Hangs onto it for now, Mateo Kovacic. Brings Malang Sarr into play. Sarr, he looked for Hudson-Odoi. He got a little nudge in the back there, but the referee says it's not a foul. It's not a nudge in the back, actually. It's a kick on the ankle. He's down and hurt, is Sarr.
The referee's not giving anything. I have to say, I didn't see this, boys. No, my eyes were attracted to the ball. Sarr has gone down.
Has he gone over in it? His ankle.
Oh, it's a shocking tackle.
Got to look at it.
Oh, my word, it's a
horrible
tackle, that.
It's Matt Doherty.
It's a horrible one.
Who plants his studs on the ankle of Malang Sarr.
Come on, man.
Minimum yellow.
VAR
They're looking at this,
at this.
This is a horrible tackle, mate.
Not what
It's a horrible tackle.
It could break his ankle.
It's horrible.
By the way, he may not recover for that today.
I tell you what, that could be a red. That could be a red. It's a horrible horrible tackle. For him to miss it, Pat, that's a derelict of your duty.
By the way,
that's an appalling decision.
This is why, now and again, we can say, this is why we want VAR. We want VAR for this.
But see it, give the free kick.
He's got to have
Get him off.
He's got to come over and have a look. He's got to come over and have a look.
Well, Sarr is still down getting treatment. Paul Tierney's got a smirk on his face as he talks to Cesar Azpilicueta.
They're not getting it.
No red card.
I bet you won't even give a foul. We won't get a foul for that. He'll give a throw-in.
We're just getting the chance to see it again. Oh, it's really, really bad. The ankle buckled as Doherty trod on it.
Matt, I cannot believe that he's not been asked to go over and have a look. That's the thing I can't get. That he's not been asked to go over and have a look.
But that is just the VAR who today is Darren England. When they get them to have a look, they're basically saying you've got it wrong.
But they shouldn't be. Give them a chance to see it. The way that they rule it now is that it must be a clear and obvious header, so it must be definite. It's not definite. That's got a level of subjectivity to it. Let the referee see it. He'll make a decision.
And it's obviously a clear and obvious error because he's given Tottenham a throw-in.
You don't tackle like that.
Oh, that's horrible. He's miles away from the ball.
You don't tackle like that. That's not how you tackle. He stood across the ball. It's horrible tackle that.
Well, the good news is that Malang Sarr's back up and he's right in Matt Doherty's face now, and they're having a conversation about it, and you can't blame Sarr for being really annoyed about what just happened. Anyway, plays back underway. Jorginho plays it into Kovacic. Now, Tony Rudiger. Chelsea been the better team in the opening 20 minutes.
Dominant, I'd say. More than better, dominant. We've had most of the play. We've had corner kicks, we've had half chances, good crosses. Not much of that from Spurs at all.
Here's Kovacic, left-hand side, level with the edge of the penalty area, up against Eric Dyer. Comes into midfield for Jorginho. Jorginho into Mount, touched off first time for Azpilicueta. Crossing position, but he gave it to Ziyech instead. He's up against Sessegnon, right side, down the line for Azpilicueta. Overcomes his cross, again too deep for Lukaku, but Tanganga heads it behind for another Chelsea corner.
Well worked on that right-hand side, Pat. Yes. Really well worked. Got men over, get bodies in the box as well. This time they can't clear it, going out for a corner. Sorry, a throw-in. They have to clear it for a corner. This has been a really good opening 21 minutes for Chelsea.
Ziyech comes to the near side, where the Tottenham supporters are based in the shed to take this corner. Hudson-Odoi again there for a short one, if he would like to do so. Ziyech, shortish run up here. Mount edge of the box too. Kovacic is the player back minding things. Deep to the far post it goes, headed back across goal by Rudiger, then up into the air and away by Tottenham as far as Kovacic, who declines the invitation from the crowd to shoot, gave it to Ziyech instead. He whips in a really dangerous looking cross, headed away by Ben Davies. And then Tanganga will hope to beat Mount to the ball, but he won't be successful in that, and it goes out for a throw-in, and Tanganga collides with the advertising hoarding. And the Chelsea supporters do not have much sympathy for it.
Well, the thing is, they're going to moan at Mason Mount here. Mason was holding his ground. Tanganga was trying to hit him. Yeah. The person at fault...
It's a straight race, a straight shoulder between the pair. What's happened is he's hit the advertising board. If they're not there, no one says anything. It's the fact he's colliding. Nothing wrong with the challenge. The fact there's advertising boards around the side, unfortunately, it's one of those hazards you have as a professional footballer. You're going to bounce off something.
I mean, they've got a cheek. The Spurs players have got a cheek to have a little bit of a go at Mason Mount. It was him that was Tanganga tried to barge Mason Mount and just come off second best because Mason Mount was able to use his body better.
It's not quite battle of the bridge levels yet, but it's definitely heating up. Azpilicueta and Kane in conversation with Paul Tierney at the moment. Because Kane is not the Spurs captain, Hugo Lloris is, but he's far away from where the action is. Here's Rudiger. Now Sarr inside the centre circle. 0-0 between Chelsea and Tottenham. Midway point of the first half. Thiago Silva goes back to Malang Sarr. Now here's Rudiger again under pressure from Kane, so he gives it to Azpilicueta. Azpilicueta quakes it down the line, but straight to Sanchez, and he heads it out to play for a Chelsea throw.
He's not looking comfortable, is he, Sanchez? Doesn't look good in ball today.
Well, I have to say, we're looking down that right hand, out right there left. We're looking to try and get in behind Davis and trying to get Sanchez out of that area. It's happened a couple of times already. There's a bit more space out there.
Here's Ziyech again, down the line for Mount, who's just about onside here. He can cross as well. Oh, he could have done if he hadn't got it trapped in his feet. Managed to get it out somehow and keep it in play. Goes back to Azpilicueta. Now Ziyech edge of the box. Azpilicueta again, and then Mount once more. Chelsea having all of the ball. Ziyech looking to whip it in toward Lukaku. Oh, good header from Eric Dyer to stop it reaching him. That's exactly what Lukaku wants. It's broken for Spurs though, and Bergwijn, tackled by Thiago Silva, is going to get the yellow card. Wiped him out on halfway. Easy decision for Tierney that time.
Yeah, I'm not sure he needs to do this. There's enough cover, but I understand why he has done it. Bergwijn's just sitting in that little bit of a cheat area out of possession. The goal that he scored, of course, against Leicester will be very much on their minds and thinking, can we somehow try and recreate that same sort of scenario? And there was a little bit of that right there. Thiago, he's seen the danger, he's dealt with it, he's got a booking. Still with over an hour to go in the game, there's a bit of a concern there.
Well, Tottenham, by the way, haven't had a booking in any of the 3 games against Chelsea so far this season. Doherty should have had more than that for his challenge on Malang Sarr a few minutes ago. But it's Spurs who have the ball with Davis into Harry Winks, player who's been revitalised under Antonio Conte. Winks. And now Dyer going all the way back to Hugo Lloris, who signed a new
Just look at Sessegnon and Doherty. They're playing exactly the same system as Chelsea is. It's a 4-2-2-2. They've done exactly the same thing. Bergwijn and Kane are nice and tight together, out of possession. In possession. And you've got Bergwijn, Sessegnon and Doherty being that midfield 2 that can come in and be effective, with the Winks and Højbjerg being the 2 lying midfielders, the 2 central defensive midfielders, that's what you want to call them. But basically, Conte's copied.
All over the top from Ziyech here to Mount, right-hand side. Højbjerg goes sliding in, had to win that, and he did, at the expense of a throw-in 10 yards from the corner flag, right-hand side.
Same possession again. They don't like it behind the left full-back area, do they? Time and again, we just clip the ball in there. Mason Mount keeps on making the runs and the moves in there. It's definitely been identified as a weak position for Spurs.
Throw-in taken back toward Rudiger on halfway now with Thiago Silva. Those 2 who both scored in North London in the reverse fixture. Now Sarr. Sarr's going to come left-hand side for Hudson-Odoi. Hudson-Odoi trying to keep it away from Tanganga, who's all over him. And to the extent that the referee says that it's a foul.
To get going forward, they've changed it a wee bit. They've managed it to get through that first 25 minutes, haven't they? And they've got a little bit more hold in the game. They're not in control of the game, Spurs, but they've got a little bit more hold in the game. Callum's not getting the ball high up the field here as much as he was before. Romelo's not getting the ball to feet as much as before. But, you know, that'll happen in some games. We need to try and get our foothold back again so we can control the play.
Here's Kane inside the centre circle, trying to release Bergwijn too long.
There's the Leicester goal. Right there. There's that scenario. They're trying to recreate something similar. Kane dropping in, even though it was given away from the Leicester kick-off. But you look at where they were.
Very similar. Bergwijn, who was apparently on his way to Ajax. They've made a couple of bids for him last week. Spurs probably stuck a couple of noughts on the end of the transfer fee after that late show at the King Power on Wednesday night. Here is Rudiger.
Yes, Pat's right. Spurs now they're dealing with us at the moment. They're coping with what we're throwing at them, and there's the game where I felt we were on top in the opening 20 minutes-ish. The game has definitely changed. Spurs are growing into this now as a team, and far more comfortable with what's going on around them. The shape in particular, that both teams are playing a 4. Højbjerg is happy to drop and follow Mason. Right now, wherever I see Højbjerg, Mason is like 5 yards away. And it's something I'm just looking at. He's dropping into that back 4. Wherever Mace goes, Højbjerg is trying to stay with him.
Here's Rudiger coming up to the halfway line. Lukaku making a run for him. Rudiger gave it short to Azpilicueta instead. He brings Mount into play. Mount going back toward his own half and then into it to find Rudiger. Silva under pressure from Bergwijn moved it on straight away to Sarr. Still 0-0 here. Spurs coping better with Chelsea in the last 10 minutes or so, albeit it's the Blues who still look the more likely team to get the game's first goal. Rudiger clips one long forward, looking for Lukaku towards Sanchez, and Lukaku actually won the header, but it dropped nicely for Sanchez second time round, and he played it into Sessegnon, who goes back to Winks just outside the penalty area, and then Eric Dyer chips a pass to the right wing where Bergwijn has got Thiago Silva as a shadow, and Thiago Silva gives away a free kick, and he can't afford to give away too many more of those.
I don't think he wants to get isolated, does he? Pace-wise, Bergwijn, I think what they want to do, that movement you're talking about, the lesser movement, but what they need to get is Bergwijn with pace against Thiago Silva, and that's what they're trying to manipulate just now.
Ball played forward to Kane, edge of the penalty area, flicked off his head and goes through to Kepa. He bowls it out to Jorginho. Jorginho moves it on to Ziyech on halfway right-hand side. He can cross into enemy territory here. Oh, and it was blocked off in what looked a pretty painful way. Arm came out toward his face as he ran into Højbjerg. Oh, is he going to get a yellow card like Thiago Silva just did?
It looked yellow all day long to me. I have to see it again. I know that they're both running at pace, so maybe I've done Højbjerg a little bit of a disservice. But he looked like he deliberately stepped across him. Let's have a look.
Oh yeah, he shoved a bit of a shoulder in, hasn't he? But it's not that obvious.
No, do you know what? It's not really a yellow. But I just wonder whether he was a little bit more obvious about what he'd done, but he wasn't.
Here's Rudiger. They played for half an hour just about now. Still Chelsea 0, Tottenham Hotspur 0. Rudiger has the ball again. Everything in front of him as he's near the halfway line. So he comes left-hand side to Sarr. Sarr flicks it out to Hudson-Odoi up against Tanganga.
Hudson-Odoi somehow has got to try and find his way around Tanganga. Every time he's going back, Tanganga's body shape, the way he receives the ball, he can't get around him. I wonder whether we want to try and isolate him, leave him 1v1. The run from cover drags bodies across. So when that ball goes out, leave him there. But now, leave him 1v1. The cover's coming in, okay, that's fine, he's done an overlapping run. But what that does, the space he wants to get into, he can't because cover's made that run. I wonder whether you can just say, go on, I tell you what, I'll support in front and sideways. Run him, go on, run him.
Speaking my language, leave me alone with him. That's what I want. Just leave me alone with him. I want to do one-on-one. He started off well, didn't he, Callum? And now when he's getting the ball, as you say, back to goal, he's not getting the last third areas running at pace that he was doing earlier on, and that's made a big difference. So I suspect that's a lot got to do with Conte standing right there, telling his defender exactly what to do.
Ball's back with Kepa at the moment, just outside his penalty area. Played in every game against Tottenham this season is Kepa. Nobody in a Spurs shirt has scored against him since Fernando Llorente 3 years ago this month.
So it's a thing though, Pat, because Cover's trying to get in behind, a little bit like we've done on their left, our right. It's almost like we're trying to create the same thing here. But what it's doing, it's stunting Callum. It's stopping him being creative. He has very little options. Chance here though.
Nice half turn by Mount, crosses halfway, right-hand side. Ziyech outside of him, Lukaku and Kovacic through the middle. And Ziyech has got the ball, gives it straight back to Mount. Early cross toward Lukaku, missed it. Came for Hudson-Odoi though, up against Tanganga again. Looking for someone to pass to, gave it back to Kovacic. Now here's Azpilicueta. He's going to move it out to Mount again. Oh, the pass was short, and that meant that Sessegnon could get it out. That was a good opportunity for Romelu Lukaku.
That's an understatement. That's a brilliant opportunity. I think it may have gone through both his legs. He's coming over there very quickly. I think it's Jason's point from before. Right foot, isn't it? And he's not his right foot, it's not his favourite.
Cross comes into the Spurs penalty area, which Lloris plucks from the sky.
What I will say is keep doing it. Keep doing it. We haven't done that enough for Romelu. I know that there's a lot of criticism for him, and some fairly and some unfairly, about his work rate and about what he does with the ball. But what he wants is, they're the type of balls he wants.
Here's Jorginho playing it into Lukaku, back to goal, 30-plus yards out. Comes left-hand side to Hudson-Odoi, point to the penalty area. Hudson-Odoi, oh, he bent a cross-come shot in, hoping that Lukaku could get his head to it, not quite behind for a goal kick.
Yeah, this time the cross has come slightly higher up. Not too dissimilar, actually, from the goal against Villa. But what the ball has done, it's angled to where Lukaku is, as opposed to where you want him to run onto. So you're looking to play that ball in front so that he can go and attack it. And he hasn't quite done that. And you remember the goal he scored with Mings, where he drops off, gets in front of Mings. That's the sort of ball, go and attack it. That was much. But again, balls in the box. Let me tell you, we keep doing that frequently enough, Lukaku will get on the end of something.
Here's Jorginho finding Thiago Silva. Thomas Tuchel applauding his team's movement at the moment. Antonio Conte standing out with his Arm pointing where he wants his players to be. Sarr comes back to Thiago Silva. He'll find Rudiger inside the centre circle. Here's Azpilicueta going out right-hand side to Ziyech. Ziyech hit it hard at Mount, did well to control it. Mount trying to step away from Højbjerg.
He's everywhere. He's almost man-marking Mount. Wherever he is, he tends to be either on a space he wants to get at, or he's following, dropping deep into that back four.
Azpilicueta now, right-hand side, goes out to Ziyech. Ziyech gets it away from Davis, flicked into the penalty area for Azpilicueta. Oh, he looked to stand one up for Lukaku. Deflected behind for a corner, that's 5 for the half for Chelsea.
Like that a lot. I like that a great deal. Azpilicueta, they don't fall because it's so unexpected from that full-back role he was in there. But down that right-hand side, we are smooth. Everyone's moving for each other. Good understanding. I think Conte will be worried about his left-hand side of his team's defence.
Over comes the latest Mount corner then out. Swinger headed by Kane out as far as Hudson-Odoi. He'll serve it back up from Mount. Back to Hudson-Odoi again. Big cross from deep here. Poor delivery though, easily dealt with by Højbjerg. Out to halfway where Kovacic was waiting. He could only find Tanganga with his pass. Then there was a foul by Jorginho that'll give Spurs a free kick halfway inside their own half.
The ball back in, once it's been recycled, it's a poor ball. You know, they've still got bodies in the box, plenty of them. Once it's recycled, there is a chance, because the game has developed, you might lose your marker for a split second. The ball has got to be as good as the first cross, and it wasn't. It hit first man. Oh, it's so disappointing.
Into the final 10 minutes of the first half, goalless at Stamford Bridge. Chelsea unbeaten in their last 10 against Spurs in 90 minutes. 6-0 the aggregate score from the 3 meetings this season alone. Here's Sarr, left-hand side, did well to keep it in play, and even better to find Lukaku with his pass. Lukaku then couldn't quite bring it under control there, goes out for a Tottenham throw, just in front of Antonio Conte. Tanganga with gloves on, chucks the ball back to Davinson Sanchez.
Just wonder with the big man, his feet's not moving quite as quick as they used to, you know. When they get in the 18-yard line, it's like dancing feet when you're a centre forward. You get your body in the right position. The 3 opportunities he's had today, hasn't he? You know, 2 of them have fallen to his right foot, another one came between the both of them. But it's getting your feet in the right position, just there. It's got to be a yellow.
Tanganga just pushed Hudson-Odoi over.
Right there, what Pat and I spoke about 5 minutes ago, where he's allowed 1v1, where Kovra's not taken the space up, get in there, he's knocked it past him, he's picked up a booking. Do you know what I do now? Every time, give it to him, test him. Give it to him, test him.
Changes that battle totally now, doesn't it?
Just isolate him, just completely isolate him if you possibly can. But funnily enough, have a look at Jorginho and Kova talking just now. I think Jorginho might be saying what you're saying now to Kova, as if saying, look, give him space. He's got him, he's done him, and he's got the pace of him as well.
Here's Ziyech right-hand side trying to get away from Davis, but just carried it over the line. It will be a Tottenham throw-in.
It's the first mistake Ziyech has made, actually. You know, he's been good. Maybe less so last 15, or you know, the influence Pat on the game, the opening 15-20 minutes was really good.
I was going to say to you, Jason, I was saying before, give him the ball, keep on giving it. It's getting dried up a wee bit for 10 or 15 minutes.
Now then, here come Tottenham with Sessegnon. Sessegnon into the penalty area, drags his shot so far wide. It doesn't quite go for a throw-in, but very nearly did.
Bit lucky it's gone to Sessegnon, by the way. If that falls to Bergwijn, he's only thinking one thing. It's unconvinced. I'm not sure if this is a cross or a shot, to be honest with you. Probably a shot. Hard to tell. It's that bad.
Do you know what? I mean, I thought you'd be loving what Silva was doing there. The way he timed it to come over, made him make a decision. You have to go over and make a decision, don't you? And he said to him, right, I'm coming close to you, you better go and do something. And he panicked, didn't he?
Spurs are pressing high for it's something we've not seen, and I don't mind that, to be honest, because it gives us space to operate in. And this is, I don't get why they've done that.
Yeah, Chelsea have broken that press, but then Kovacic played it against Tanganga, and the momentum's gone. And here's Bergwijn up against Rudiger, flicking it out for Kane. He's forced wide by the pass, but he'll get there. Backed up by Doherty. Doherty back for Kane again, level with the edge of the box, right-hand side. Infield from him to Bergwijn. Bergwijn trying to roll Thiago Silva. Was he fouled by Matt? Not according to referee Tierney. And Chelsea can break again. Rudiger's storming over halfway. He's giving it to Ziyech. Rudiger's carried on his run. Fed down the line for right winger Tony Rudiger. Puts his cross in toward Lukaku, who I don't think was expecting it. Lukaku got something on it. I think the last touch came from a Spurs player, but the referee disagrees and it's a goal kick.
Well, I was convinced that was a corner kick there. But honestly, when did you say to Tony go? What, 40 yards inside his own half? And he hammers it. Oh, we don't half love him when he does that, don't we?
Well, once the shackles are off, he does it. It's like, I don't care. I'm not a defender now. I'm an attacking midfielder. And he opens those legs and he goes. He's done it so convincingly and so well. It's not the worst ball. I thought it was a corner, but no one complained from a Chelsea player.
Well, Romelu did. Romelu
is he the one? Okay, all right. Well done, Jorginho. Oh,
Bergwijn's just managed to get away from it.
Yeah.
Bergwijn's got Sessegnon to his left and Kane through the middle. Out for Sessegnon. Bergwijn's gone down off the ball, but here's Kane. He's rolled his man and put it in. But is it going to count? It is not.
I'm not sure about this.
I couldn't see what was wrong with that.
I tell you now, if this is for a foul,
which I think it is,
I don't think it is, Pat. I'll have to see it again, mate. Honestly, I don't. I'll have to see this again.
You just said you rolled him there.
Yeah, I don't think this is a foul. And I've got to be honest. If I'm a Spurs fan right now, I'll be. If Lukaku's doing this to Sanchez.
Oh no!
Yeah, it's a push in the back of Silva. Definite foul. Yeah, pushed into the floor.
Definitely, 100%.
Just seen the replay here.
It's a foul.
Yeah. Silva had all the momentum, which helped him hit the deck, but it's pretty clear. Paul Tierney actually had a good view of that one.
Thank goodness for that. By the way, it's not as extreme a shove as it looks.
I've got to
the way he's reacted.
I've got to tell you, I think this is a goal, boys.
I think he's touched
I've got to tell you, I think if this was the other way round, and Lukaku as just in the small of the back, I think Silva's bought this. And look, this is where, so the on-field decision against obvious mistake and all of that sort of stuff.
That'll work in our favour.
I can't wait for this game to be re-kicked. I can't wait for it to start again, because I think this is soft.
There's no signpost up there.
Yeah, nothing saying VAR are having a look at it. We get the chance to look at it again. Well, we see Bergwijn go down off the ball, and that.
I think this is
he's
soft,
okay,
boys.
Bergwijn.
Please take it early. Get on with it quickly. Once it's taken, I think we're incredibly lucky here, boys.
Antonio Conte and his staff are still remonstrating with the fourth official.
See, when you go at that pace, it only takes a little bit more nudge to push you further, especially when you're 37.
Well, play is going to restart here. Bergwijn's back up on his feet.
You can look now,
He's off the pitch for now.
He's not been able to look for the past minute.
Look, with my Chelsea hat off and my football hat on, I tell you, boys, I think we've got very fortunate there.
Well, let's say that's one decision that's gone either team's way so far, with Dosley not being sent off earlier. Here's Ziyech up against Davis inside the penalty area. Can only find Olivier with his cross. Cleared away up to Bergwijn, and then not long for Kane to chase against Thiago Silva. And Thiago Silva, he's just effortless. He left Kane on the floor. He didn't break stride. He just moved the ball away from him as if to say, "I'm sorry, old chap, that's mine."
He's so good. Do you know what? I know Thiago Silva's a brilliant. Pat, I didn't realise he was this good. No, I didn't. Honestly, I didn't.
I do say it to a lot of people that I think he's the best footballing defender I've ever seen in the Premier League.
I didn't realise he was this good. Go on, Callum. Go on, Callum.
Against Tanganga again. Tanganga knows he can't foul.
He's bottled it. Referee's bottled it.
I tell you.
And then Kovacic is penalised for something on Højbjerg, which looked like something and nothing. You need a strong referee for this fixture.
Tell you what, Callum has got him now where he wants him. He has. He's asking questions.
You wonder, though, if Tanganga's going to stay on.
And I'm watching that.
He's not even trying for the ball, and he's told his nonsense. Referee bottled it.
Right. Okay. So now, keep giving it to Callum. Keep giving it to Callum. Leave him alone. Let him run him. Because Tanganga knows himself, Pat. I know. I've been in that situation on the booking where I've got away with. And you know what? Now you become really scared.
Interesting to see if Tanganga comes out for the second half. Thomas Tuchel was angrier than Jason was about that, by the way. Cleared up to Azpilicueta. Now here's Ziyech. Kovacic inside the centre circle, looking to cross halfway. Slid it forward quickly to Lukaku. Good ball. Lukaku edge of the penalty area, up against 3 defenders, got the shot away, hit it into Eric Dyer, deflects behind for another corner.
It's okay. He's a little bit unfortunate there because he wants the ball. Lukaku zipped into his feet, and although it comes in, it's a nice pace. He's waiting for it a little bit. Now he's got to gather the pace. Dyer does well. He's got the cavalry. I like that. Lukaku's gone. His left foot had a shot. It's the best he could have come up with.
Fewer than 90 seconds of the opening 45 to go. We'll get a bit of stoppage time too. Ziyech with the corner, out-swinging delivery. Somebody goes down in the box. It breaks out to Hudson-Odoi. It was Dyer who'd gone down. Kovacic now switching it left-hand side for Ziyech again. Lovely first touch from him. Hudson-Odoi coming to offer some help. Ziyech pings it in. Oh, what a delivery that is! And nobody in blue could get the touch because somebody in white did. It's behind for another corner.
Honestly, he's on fire. OK, they're quiet 10 or 15 minutes, but they never got the balls yet there. That ball in there was an arrow. It was zinged. It never budged for a second there. And as a keeper, nothing you can do that because there's no air on it, there's no height on it. That's another brilliant ball by Ziyech.
So where he delivers it on the left end, on the right, he bends it in. This one was drilled.
Over comes Mount's out-swinging corner. Oh, and the header goes over the crossbar. It was Thiago Silva who got the key touch there. There were 3 or 4 players challenging for it.
The referee's having a word with Rudiger for something.
Yeah, just a brief word, and then he let him go. Silva trying to arc his header over the crossbar, or under the crossbar, but got it over. But other than that, Kane disallowed goal, which Pat thinks was rightly ruled out, and Jason feels Chelsea got lucky with. Chelsea have created all the opportunities. As the 4th official tells us, there will be 3 minutes of stoppage time at least at the end of the first half. Here's Ziyech, right-hand side, going back to Azpilicueta. Chelsea playing inside their own half here. Won 3 of 12 games against top-half teams in the Premier League this season. 3 points here today would be massive. They would be 11 ahead of Tottenham then, even with Tottenham's games in hand. And Sanchez puts it out to play. Chelsea throw near the corner flag, far side to the right. Sanchez looking rattled in the same way that Tanganga is. Azpilicueta, he's gone down because he was fouled by Sessegnon. So free kick to end the half here for Chelsea. Level with the edge of the box, over on the far side to the right.
You know, I'm watching Davison Sanchez there, honestly. When you've actually just watched Thiago Silva on the ball and then you watch him, I think the phrase...
That's unfair, Pat. That's not fair.
Every pass an adventure.
By the way, I mentioned a second ago about the drill cross from Ziyech. His deliveries from where he has taken his free kick. This is his game. This is what he does. Deliver it towards that far post, zip it in. The height and the weight is absolutely crucial.
Just one-man wall to negotiate. Here's Bergwijn. Shortish run-up for Ziyech, who floats it deep to the far post, looking for Sarr. It wasn't a good ball, straight into the gloves of
Too much air, Pat. It's not zipped like I wanted.
It's the first time he's done that today. Everything has had a bit of wheel in it, a bit of bend on it, but lots and lots of pace on it as well. That's his first one that he's dollied up there, isn't it? And it's a real shame that, because that's the last thing you want to give to Lloris.
He pumps it forward looking for Kane, only onto the head of Thiago Silva though. Then Azpilicueta nods it forward to Ziyech, back to goal on halfway. Laid off for Mount. Mount can go into Spurs half of the field, puts the brakes on to try and keep away from his opposite number Sessegnon. Now Azpilicueta into Jorginho, back with Azpilicueta again. We've already had 2 of the 3 minutes that were signalled for stoppage time. 0-0 is the score. Thiago Silva is on the ball for Chelsea. Comes left-hand side for Sarr. Sarr into Kovacic. Time for one last attack if Chelsea are quick about it. Silva out to Kovacic again. He plays it into the channel looking for Lukaku. It was a good ball as well. Lukaku back to goal, left-hand side. Goes back to Hudson-Odoi. Hudson-Odoi trying to get away from Sanchez. Found Jorginho. Jorginho out for Azpilicueta. Could have a shot here, edge of the box. Oh, laid it off for Ziyech, but the pass was short and Sessegnon was able to get there.
It's a shame that, because we were desperate to get the ball once in there before the referee blows his whistle for half-time. And we're running out of time in the second half.
Here's Kovacic, left-hand side, over halfway. Hudson-Odoi up against Tanganga again here. Hudson-Odoi looking to take him on, and Tanganga got the ball that time. Good challenge. Came out for Sarr. He's nudged by Bergwijn, but manages to hold his feet. Paul Tierney takes a look at his watch, puts the whistle to his lips and blows it for half-time. Chelsea 0, Tottenham 0 then. Both teams with gripes about refereeing decisions, but overall, Thomas Tuchel, the happier of the two coaches?
We're the better team. by a distance. Created a lot more without any clear-cut chances. Romelu, they've put the ball in for him. I don't think the big man can complain about lack of balls getting put into the box. There's been plenty done in this half. I think we deserve to be ahead, if anyone. In fact, no, we deserve to be ahead. Yes, it comes down to that one where Jason and I don't see it exactly the same way. Maybe I've got slightly blue-tinted spectacles on, I will admit that now and again. But just as he was going for it, Thiago Silva, his balance is usually that good. There are other players, if they lose their balance and fall over and buy it there, I would think, with him, he usually knows what he's doing, so I think he was shoved.
Jake's miles away from the first half we saw at Brighton on Tuesday night.
Yes, indeed, and something had to improve. We've been the better side. The criticism is, whenever I look at games like this, and I've seen lots of these, is how much work has the keeper made? How much work have we made him do? Not a lot. That's the criticism. Balls in the box, perhaps make the point. Lukaku's had one or two of those chances, haven't gotten the end of it. I'm satisfied. I think we got a little bit lucky. But yes, so far, so good.
At the break at the bridge then, it's Chelsea 0, Tottenham Hotspur 0. We'll be back with second half commentary soon. For now, though, I'll hand you back to the studio.
Thank you, Matt. Thank you, Jason. Thank you, Pat. First half commentary, 0-0 Chelsea Spurs at half-time at the bridge in the company of Dan and Ben's joined us on Zoom as well. Boys, let's get straight into it then. Like they've been describing, Ben, I think Chelsea, the better side in the first half, but I suppose there isn't a huge gap between the two sides, so 0-0 at half-time seems probably about fair at the moment.
Yeah, definitely fair. I think we got to put away those chances, though. Ziyech obviously, stand out with that zinger of a cross and a couple of good balls in, but man, Lukaku's got to get a footer ahead on those balls, and with all that pressure early on, we got to get a goal in.
I think it's a great point about Hakim Ziyech. I think he's been fantastic so far, Dan. Probably the best 45 minutes he's had in a Chelsea shirt. He's been that impressive. He's been the standout figure on the pitch.
Yeah, and when you put a beautiful ball in 15 seconds, into the game, your confidence is going to be up. And every ball he's hit since then has been good. He's been tenacious. He's been strong in a tackle. Very good half by him. I think it's been a decent display by us in general. I think Tottenham are fortunate maybe to be ahead. The goal that was disallowed, I think that was the correct decision. But I do think they should be down to 10 men.
I completely agree with you. I'll tell you what, let's get some social media reaction then to the game so far. Ziyech is absolutely spraying them in about the first 5. He's absolutely flying at the moment, isn't he, so far? This is what I've been waiting for. Ziyech and Mount link up on that right side. It's right because it's a very fluid system, isn't it? It's very kind of between the two. You're getting quite a lot of them. And I'm liking this. We're constantly setting Ziyech up for that long shot or across in the little pocket of space. Absolutely right. Yeah, we're finding those pockets, aren't we? We're finding those areas to exploit them. I mean, Dan, just on that, 75% possession for Chelsea so far. It has been a dominant first half, like Ben said, without the breakthrough, though. Those are the important parts. And those are, again, what we bemoan constantly on here when we come away from not winning games. We have to take those chances. When you're getting the delivery and the service in, we need that little bit of luck for it to fall in the right area and get on the end of it.
Yeah, 75% it shows how dominant we are being. But I would have guessed Tottenham set up for a game quite similar to this. They're trying to hit us on a break, defend quite deep. And because of it, we're going to get clear-cut opportunities, very few and far between. So we do need to have that killer instinct when we do get the ball in those areas where we can score. Lukaku's had a couple, opportunities where he swiped at it a little bit, and maybe if you get the right contact, it's a goal. So we better hope that this half we're able to capitalise on all our possession and the control of the game.
Few contentious decisions in the first half, Ben. I think let's talk about the Spurs goal that was disallowed first of all. I think Jason in commentary said it was, I think, to paraphrase what he's saying, soft, which I think is probably fair. If it was the other way, on the other end, I think we'd all be crying for it to not be a foul, but it was given as a foul. There is contact. Thiago Silva is a little nudge in the back from Harry Kane and Kane finishes. But then on the flip side of that, the other contentious decision fairly early on in the game is Matt Doherty leaves a very late tackle on Malang Sarr on the ankle. So you could probably say it evens out because it's probably a red card and then possibly a goal.
Yeah, well, that was my initial thoughts, was even out, but two wrongs don't make a right. With Doherty, the ball really wasn't in clear sight when he put that foot in, and that's a career ender. We look at what almost happened with Ruben Loftus-Cheek from the same kind of foul. So it's just a bad foul, man. But also at the same time, you say it evens out on the other side of the pitch. And I tend to agree. I mean, and that's how refs play the game. Fair is fair. So, you know, let's play from here. Even slate.
Absolutely right. And Dan, you know, it's very easy to get bogged down in it and get carried away. But you look at the Mane incident a couple of weeks ago here inside, 30 seconds or whatever, probably a red card. Yeah. Could be seen as a red card. I'm, as a Chelsea fan, would absolutely be calling for a red card. Same with the Doherty one here. But these are the kind of narratives that you don't want to come back to. You want that to be a side note at the end of the game when you've comfortably cruised out. When you're 75% in possession, moments like that shouldn't matter.
Well, I suppose, but you definitely... Football is a strange game, you know, and you can dominate a game and lose the game. We don't want to drop points here and look back at that moment and be like, that was a potential game changer, because, I mean, I'm surprised they looked at it at VAR and decided it was nothing. You know, that's what the shocking part was, that everything seems to look worse in slow motion. So I don't know how that decision was come to, but at the moment we're not getting the rub of the green. Let's just hope that we can, you know, win it without any controversial decisions.
Yeah, absolutely right. Lots of football going on at the moment, of course. Not just Chelsea men's team in action, also the women's team midweek. They took on West Ham in the Conti Cup. Let's see how they got on.
There haven't been too many opportunities for Chelsea so far in this game, but Carter on the ball now. That's a lovely through ball to Harder, and she gets the shot away there, Harder. Just allowing her body to open up to get the shot away. With a goal at her mercy, but it whispers just wide. West Ham with the ball bobbling in and around the box there. It's hooked towards goal. The clearance there, read well by Carter. Deflection falls to Fleming. Fleming with a first-time pass into the path of Fran Kirby. Fran Kirby with acres of room. Will she take the shot first time? No, she decides to square it. It's a goal for Chelsea. They have broken the deadlock. Great unselfish play from Fran Kirby there. And Chelsea have the advantage. Pernell Harder in the right place at the right time to slot the ball beyond the West Ham goalkeeper. Chelsea's front line combining to dangerous effect. Harder will be very, very grateful to her teammate Kirby there for having the instinct and the execution to find her. West Ham with a hooked ball into the box. It's bouncing around that area. It's looking really, really dangerous, but Berger off her line, and she needed to be to smother the ball at the feet of the West Ham forward. Danger signs for West Ham as they try to find a way back into this game. The hosts showing their threat, and that's a mistake by Ingle. Walker charging forwards, finds her teammate. Skakova gets the shot away, and that is the equaliser. It had been coming. It's been a dominant phase for the hosts. And Skakova getting the space, finding the shot, and leaving Berger rooted to the floor to give West Ham the equaliser and their route back into this tie. Kirby exchanges passes with Ingle. Anderson with a great delivery in, and Cuthbert heads Chelsea ahead in this tie. She rose highest beyond Flaherty there, and we don't see her score too many with her head, but Cuthbert doing the business. Fleming back heels to Kirby. Kirby with a lovely little shot away there, and Harder's scooping up the seconds, and she slots the ball home. It's that combination once more. Fleming with a deft little ball back to her teammate Kirby. Kirby forces a fine save, and Harder is there to get her second and nudge Chelsea further ahead. Anderson in there, she finds Harder. It's a hat-trick for Harder. She's worked so hard throughout this tie, and she has nudged Chelsea even further ahead. The substitute on the ball now for West Ham. Evans drives towards squares the ball back, and she cuts it across, and Hussein is there. Fox driving, knew where her teammate would be, and the substitute with her second touch of the ball gets West Ham a second.
Chelsea into the semi-finals of the Conti Cup, play Manchester United. Pernilla Harder with a hat-trick, rightly so, getting a lot of credit in there, but Jessie Fleming was unbelievable, wasn't she?
That little move that she did on the halfway line and then fizzed it through, just a ridiculous ball. She had and the link up there for Harder's third goal as well. ridiculous.
Yeah, absolutely. And obviously 0-0 earlier in the WSL away at Brighton, but plenty of fixtures coming up. Obviously, the men's team likewise got a lot of football still to play. Ben, that is something to consider. Chelsea have got a bit of a breather after today, and it's one of those, it's like an international break, but it's not. It's obviously a Premier League winter break, but it's one of those where you want to finish on a high. You don't want to be pondering this result for 2 weeks before we play again.
Yeah, and you see, after Tommy Tuchel's comments and Ziyech's goal, it's just so apparent that the squad is worn out. They seem so depleted, and with the injury woes that we've had over the last 6 months, combined with this run of matches that we've had. I think my buddy here next to me was telling me Brighton's got 6 games in hand. I mean, it's quite ridiculous, and a break is definitely due.
Absolutely right, and especially, Dan, because when we come back, we play in the FA Cup, then we play in the Club World Cup as well. I think the next Premier League game's the 19th of February, around about that point. So it's pretty much a full month before you play in the Premier League again. You don't want this to be lingering, especially against Spurs.
Yeah, you want to get your 3 points and then put the Premier League to the back of your mind for a little bit whilst you focus on all the cups and all of that. February is a busy month. It's a really busy month. So, let's get 3 points, and as they always say, a game at a time, 3 points at a time. But let's just get this 45 minutes out of the way.
I want to talk to you about Callum Hudson-Odoi as well, because Callum has already shown that he's got Tanganga in a good area. Tanganga's on a booking now. There was almost a second yellow already in that game, a little bit of a tussle, and Thomas Tuchel displeased with it. But I suppose that would be the message now, wouldn't it? To isolate those two, and like Jason was saying on commentary, you almost pull the players away and say, give him space to run him, because then you make him make a decision. Yeah,
for the first 20 minutes, I was actually getting a bit frustrated because there were moments in the game where Callum could have run at him earlier, but he kept coming back inside, maybe giving him different looks instead. And then he started to run him, and we started to have more and more success. And all of a sudden, Tanganga has more doubt in his mind. He realises, hold on, if we're going on a foot race, I might have to take him down. I'll be interested to see if he even comes out for the second half, or if Conte's looking at him and potentially looking at a walking red card there, because the second one was no better than the first.
We do know, though, Ben, obviously, Tottenham have got Harry Kane, Steven Bergwijn, obviously scored 2 in the week on the counter, and if you give good players good opportunities and good looks, as it were, then eventually you're playing with fire if you don't get punished. So I suppose that is something to be cautious of. Thiago Silva obviously never needs to get out of second gear and will roll past players because he's phenomenal. But that said, you don't want to leave yourself exposed and give teams too many opportunities, do you?
Yeah, well, absolutely. And what's beautiful is we do have Rudy and Thiago Silva in the middle. I mean, who else would you want there? Of course, we have a great core underneath them on the bench, but I'm pretty confident, man. Look, when Callum Hudson-Odoi empties his pockets later, you'll find his change and Tanganga. So I'm just excited at how he's handling that left side with Malang Sarr and just bossing it up, man. So I'm confident on the back. What we really need to do is just start executing on these chances. Completely agree.
And just on that as well, Dan, because you alluded to it there, but Antonio Rudiger had a trademark burst from the back at one point, and you see him just go charging forward. He then puts in a cross for Lukaku, which Dyer intercepts early, but it's one of those trademark Antonio Rudiger runs from deep.
Well, usually we see him do it with the ball. This time he's darting through the middle of the pitch without it, ends up in the wide right channel and puts in a very good cross. But, the crowd love it when he goes on his runs, when he has his shots. It's a thing. It's almost become pantomime here. But it was very effective. Dragged the defender out, got a good cross in, and we almost got a corner from it.
Absolutely. And Ben, just finally, who do you think is going to make the breakthrough? Which Chelsea player are you looking at to have the impact in the second half to get Chelsea the 3 points?
I'm still looking at Lukaku. I think as a supporter, I think we're all looking at Lukaku, man. But some of those balls that came in, he's got to put his foot on it. He's got the skill. We know that. Let's go. Let's get a foot on it.
Absolutely right. He's definitely a difference maker, isn't he? Big games, you need big players, and he is certainly in that bracket. Right, the boys will be back in a second for second half commentary. First, though, a word from Trivago.
You can feel it. The preparation. The thrill of anticipation. Because now, it's time. Time to go. Time to play. Time to win. With Trivago and Chelsea FC.
Welcome back to Stamford Bridge. Chelsea 0, Tottenham Hotspur 0 at half-time. Then you join us just as the two sets of players are making their way out for the second half. First thing I can notice, Pat Nevin, is that Japhet Tanganga is still out there. I did wonder whether Conte might think, let's not risk him on a yellow card. So presumably Thomas Tuchel spent a fair bit of time over the last 15 minutes saying, give the ball to Callum.
Yeah, and isolate him, stay out wide, make sure you get the ball in decent space. I suspect Antonio Conte's said similarly, give him some help. You know, you might have to double up. You've got a guy playing in front of you, as Jason was correctly saying. Doherty's not a right back, but he's enough of a right wing back to go and help his mate a little bit, and I think that's what might happen now, that if you go and push forward a little bit on that side there, that'll drag them back on that side, and that might give us even more space in the midfield.
No changes by either manager. Chelsea, Kepa is the goalkeeper. Back four, Azpilicueta, Silva is on a yellow, Rudiger in start, then Jorginho, Kovacic, Hudson-Odoi, Mount, Ziyech and Lukaku. Tottenham have Lloris as the goalkeeper, Tanganga, who's been booked, Eric Dyer, Davinson Sanchez and Ben Davis, Doherty, Winks, Højbjerg, Sessegnon and Bergwijn and Kane up front. The subs for Chelsea, Bettinelli, Alonso, Kante, Pulisic, Werner, Chalobah, Saul, Barkley and Havertz. The replacements for Spurs are Galini, Reguilon, Hill, Royale, Roden, Moura, Skip, White and Scarlett. And we've got a delay here because the net needs repairing.
How many times have you ever seen that actually happen?
Well, I was just going to ask you, because I thought, I bet Pat and Jason have had this happen to them on some ropey old 80s pitch, I don't know, somewhere Luton or something like that, or maybe up in Scotland, but no, never seen this before. I mean, it's not very 2022 in the Premier League, is it?
Do you know, the only time it ever used to happen is if someone ran and tried to score, then careered into the goal and ripped the goal, and then you had the problem because you're not allowed to have a rip in the net, the ball can go through. But he looks
one thing I will say is that well done officials, because, you know, it's one of those mistakes that you perhaps could easily, you know, the game. Oh dear, that doesn't look particularly professional at all, does it? I mean, I don't know what's going on there. That looks horrendous.
There's two people trying to repair the net with what are they? What do you call those? Cable ties.
Yeah.
Just patching up the net. I mean, it was the net that Spurs were kicking into.
Well, let's hope that net is tested, boys. That's all I can say. Let's hope that there's going to be a...
Well, it's a patch-up job. We'll be polite and call it that, but we can get the game back on. That's the main thing. One new net, please.
I'll tell you a story later on about a crossbar that was the wrong size. That is a concern.
That was that Spurs as well?
That happened to me at Motherwell. Chief executive up there, and I discovered it.
Here is Lukaku taking the kick-off then. Chelsea going towards the Matthew Harding stand in the second half. 0-0 the score here. 8 points between the two teams, with Tottenham with 4 games in hand at kick-off. The win would take Spurs fourth. That after Arsenal were held 0-0 by Burnley at the Emirates earlier today. Meanwhile, Liverpool won 3-1 at Crystal Palace, and Leicester and Brighton shared a 1-1 draw. Ball kicked out of play by Davinson Sanchez for a Chelsea throw halfway inside Spurs half. Just down in front of us, the right-hand side.
They're quite timid, aren't they, Spurs? They just naturally just funnel back, don't they? I mean, now and again they'll go for a bit of a press, but it's not a whole gang of them that are going there, is it?
Spurs with the 2 late goals on Wednesday night. Chelsea have scored 10 times in the final 15 minutes of Premier League games so far this season, so we might not get the decisive moment of the match until late in it. Might only take 1 goal to win this game, we shall see. Here's Rudiger rolling it across to Thiago Silva. Lots of debate online at half-time about whether he was fouled or not by Harry Kane. Here he is again, Silva. Kane, the closest Spurs player to him, but Silva's got time to just roll it across to Tony Rudiger, and Rudiger in turn can find Azpilicueta. Will come right side for Ziyech. Impressive in the first half. Hit that too hard at Mason Mount, though, and then Jorginho couldn't control. It's come through for Rudiger.
Great that we miss and finding those positions, isn't it? I mean, it's like there's 2 10s, obviously, one either side of Romelu, but he keeps on finding positions in behind the centre-back and full-back.
Well, Hudson-Odoi's done brilliantly to roll away from Tanganga there. Hudson-Odoi making his way up to the edge of the penalty area, skates across the pitch, gives it to Ziyech. Ziyech onto his left foot, looking to bend one into the far corner. Oh, what a brilliant goal! Hakim Ziyech with a wonder strike. 2 minutes into the second half, Ziyech scores one of the goals of the season. Brilliant. Lloris just stood, watched, watched and knew there was nothing he could do about it. Curled from 25 yards into the far corner. That was a test of the repaired net. It was a beautiful, beautiful goal. Chelsea 1, Tottenham 0 in style.
Right, I have to tell you, 10 seconds into the game, this man beside me said, he's looking good today. And all the way through the first half, the confidence and the belief. But that happened in slow motion, didn't it? Absolute slow motion.
We have the privilege of sitting behind that and watching that goal hit the back of the net. It flew in.
Oh, by the way,
Lloris has not got a clue where this is going. He doesn't move. He's rooted. But let me tell you, this is about Callum Hudson-Odoi. He's got the booking on Tanganga. Tanganga cannot get too tight. We saw the foul just for half-time. He gives the foul away. No doubt Conte would have said to him, you cannot keep giving fouls away. He's got round him. Beautiful run. Sends their back four deep. Gives it to Ziyech. And the rest is over to him. 1-0 Chelsea.
And here they come again with Kovacic through midfield. Got options right and left. He came to Ziyech again, shoots the cross. Touch was poor, but he managed to release it to Azpilicueta. Cut in for Mason Mount, who can have a go. Hit Sanchez. Back for Ziyech again. He almost scored again. Well, that one flew at Lloris, who flung himself across to his right and managed to palm it away.
Oh, this could be A, a big moment of the season, but B, what a big moment for Hakim Ziyech, eh? This could be the moment we've all been waiting for. That he's turned into the player that we all knew he's capable of being.
Yeah, well, we've seen it, Pat, that's for sure. He has been the best player on the pitch today, no doubt. That kind of really does rub us down. But it's not just the goal. Take the goal away, he has still been brilliant. Come on!
Here's Højbjerg for Spurs. Jorginho couldn't get the tackle in, so he played it forward to Bergwijn. Bergwijn trying to roll his man, and he wins a free kick. He wanted to take it quickly, but Jorginho wouldn't let him. Got to keep switched on at the other end here, Chelsea.
Do you know what? It's just one of those moments. You just want to watch that goal again and again and again. However,
ball came through the middle here. Rudiger left it for Kepa, and it was a good decision.
Look, Matt, I'm speaking up for both of you boys here. We sat and watched that ball leave his foot. It was like slow motion. It was beautifully top. I mean, you're talking about postage stamp. Of course, the stamp is on the other side of the goal. But you take my point.
Do you know what? It actually scrapes the underside of the bar when it goes in. And that is what is called perfection. You can't actually get any better than that. What an unbelievable strike. And by the way, it's no fluke. He knew what he was doing all along.
Here's Jorginho. Chelsea can get a second, be difficult to see Spurs coming back. Hudson-Odoi up against Tanganga once more. He's come in field this time. Hudson-Odoi, oh dear.
Oh, that was
totally shanked his pass. Picked the wrong club, out for a throw.
There's not a player in the world that hasn't done that, including Maradona, Ronaldo and Messi. But I don't mind that. Keep doing that, because they're dropping deep. And what they're doing, they're filling in spaces. They're allowing him to travel across the pitch. That's how the goal came.
Absolutely. And he just needs to learn one thing in those situations, Callum Hudson-Odoi. When you look behind you and look for a bobble, always make sure it's a bobble.
Heavy touch then from Kane allows Jorginho to win possession back until he's fouled. Free kick for Chelsea in the right-back position. Well, Spurs are going to have to do what they haven't done against Chelsea in 3 meetings this season and score a goal if they're to avoid defeat here.
We don't want to sit back. That's the thing. We don't want to give them anything. We need to keep on playing it if we possibly can at the tempo we've been playing before, because they are wilting right now. They are seriously
need the next goal. You know, 1-0 is, you know, it's. Of course, it can be enough to keep a clean sheet, but give us some breathing space, because they're in this. We saw what they did against Leicester, and they'll believe that, and rightly so. Need the next goal. We're good for it.
Here's Ziyech, right-hand side, up against Sessegnon, moved it through to Mount. Mount played it off Davis, goes out of play. Oh, that's Mount last, apparently. Throw in for Spurs in their left-back position. Davis spins the ball a few revolutions in his hands while he waits for his teammates to get into their set positions. Now he hurls it up the line toward Kane. Azpilicueta got the header against him. Ziyech now has it. Touched out of play by Sessegnon.
Mount's been good today. Mount's been off it recently. I've got to tell you, Mount has been really, really good today. Right up there with Ziyech. Ziyech gets it, for me, the nod at the minute, but don't discount what Mount has done. Tirelessly working in behind to get Davis pushed back, to drag Højbjerg in there. Sessegnon is also, he's worked so well.
By the way, the understanding of the two of them, has been fantastic. Just sometimes you get these players, you don't know why, but they just seem to understand each other's movement all the time. And I'd say Ziyech and Mount have been superb together today.
Ball's gone out now for a Spurs throw-in. Spurs, however, their last 6 away defeats in the Premier League have been in London. Chelsea have won all but one of their derby dates in the league so far this season, and they are leading here by a goal to 0. We've had 52.5 minutes, a goal coming about 5 minutes ago from Hakim Ziyech. A brilliant goal it was too. Davis wins a header against Mount, and then Jorginho picks up the loose ball. Sarr goes back to Thiago Silva. Now here's Azpilicueta. Azpilicueta into that lovely turn from him, easily away from Højbjerg. Great ball too. Hudson-Odoi, left-hand side into the penalty area now. Moves it for Mount, who can hit it first time. Oh, and it whistles just over the crossbar. Really good play from Chelsea that. Mount and Hudson-Odoi at the heart of it.
We're purring.
There was just a moment there. I mean, that all came from Jorginho. Has got 3 players around him, and he managed to wriggle out of it. Then it was zip pass, zip pass, zip pass. We just looked absolutely superb when we played that rate.
Let's get the second goal and put this game to bed.
Yeah, that's what we need. Yes, we've been good for it. Yes, we've been the better side. But that 1-0 lead, it's always one of those that, you know how football is. You just need the second, the cushion.
Looks like Spurs are getting ready to bring Lucas Moura on in a moment. Interesting to see who that's for.
Are they brave enough to go back to the favourite 3 up front? They're Kane up front.
Might have to, Pat. Might have to. Again, brilliant from Callum.
On the left wing, he was fouled by Eric Dyer. Free kick will be level with the edge of the penalty area.
Do you know what? He's a lucky boy who gets away with the yellow card here, Dyer.
He's taking him out. He's got nowhere near the ball there again. Callum's flying just now, isn't he?
Yeah, Callum
absolutely
is.
flying.
And do you know what it is, Pat? I genuinely think it's the yellow card. I think it's giving him that little bit of... Because when you know you've got a little bit more licence on something... Look, why am I telling you? You tell me.
Tell everyone.
But I know as a defender what it's like. When a player's got a yellow card on me, and you know, I cannot now mark him or get tight the way that I want to, because you know anything else now is another yellow and you're off. Or as in his case, it should be a first.
Looks like it's going to be a double change for Spurs. Skip will come on as well, but not until they've faced this free kick, which Mason Mount is the architect of. And it comes, good ball as well. Thiago Silva's there to make it 2! Chelsea double their lead. Thiago Silva scores against Tottenham for the second time this season. We wanted the second goal. It's come. 2 goals in the opening 10 minutes of the second half. Tottenham are protesting about something, but for now at least the goal stands. It's Chelsea 2, Spurs 0.
Are they protesting about the free kick in the first place, saying that it wasn't a free kick in general? I hope that's what they're protesting about. The referee's gone over the Chelsea players there, but I think that's just a brilliant ball in. It started offside position there, but no, I think I'll have a little look at it again, just when the ball's played. No, I think that goes absolutely fair and square. Thiago Silva's won 2 headers with corners already in this game so far. Gets into a brilliant position here. Flick header, bottom corner, 2-0. We asked for it, they gave us
There's the cushion, Pat, you're absolutely right. It's a brilliant delivery in. And here's the free kick they're moaning about. For me, it's a free kick. I cannot believe you're not moaning about it. Dyer knows what he's doing. Forget that. You've still got to defend it. You've still got to get bodies in the box. You've still got to make sure you deal with it. And they don't.
Right, here come those changes then. Oliver Skip and Lucas Moura on. Ryan Sessegnon and Japhet Tanganga is now coming off. Well, it's a bit late, really, because Callum's already had him on toast and Chelsea are 2-0 up.
Yeah, but they'll go to the back 4 now, won't they? And they have to do that. It's one of those ones that you're a manager, stick or twist from the free kick. To be honest, they brought in players here that wouldn't have made a difference in that free kick there, would they? No chance of it. No chance.
No.
Well, all the talk pre-match was how Spurs can catch Chelsea. They had the wind in their sails. The Blues have been below par. Well, what a way this would be for Chelsea to get back into form. Only 8 points from the previous 21 available in the league before today. Well, this will feel like 6 if the Blues can hold on.
So if we do manage to hold on to that 3 wins in many weeks,
I think, yeah, I mean, not many. I mean,
do we get to keep them?
Well, Chelsea winners at White Hart Lane convincingly 3-0 in the league earlier in the season. Thiago Silva scored that day too. Now, there's something going on off the ball here between Bergwijn and Azpilicueta. And Bergwijn's just pushed Azpilicueta, and he will surely get booked for that. I didn't see what happened just before it, other than the players squaring up to each other.
Well, one thing's for sure, Aspi's not going to get involved in any mess. He's not going to jeopardise the position that we're in right now. He'll stand up and fight, and so he should. Bergwijn clearly a bit of frustration creeping into the game.
Aspi's furious, isn't he? Because he thinks, wait a minute, if you don't do anything about him being shoved and raising your hands like that, which he's not done.
A little bump and a barge between the two, and then Bergwijn had a push, and then they went chest to chest, and then Bergwijn pushed Azpilicueta. I think if he'd fallen to the floor there, Bergwijn probably would have got booked, but play goes on with Harry Kane, left-hand side. Ziyech up against him, he's gone past him. Now can he get across in? He did, away from Azpilicueta. Great header from Sarr to stop it getting to Moura. There's Bergwijn, and his volley easily saved by Kepa.
Brilliant from Kane. Brilliant, brilliant, brilliant play. Honestly, he's so good. He is. Excellent play. Ziyech closes him down, tries to put him off his stride. Aspi comes across, tries to put him off his stride. He delivers a brilliant ball with his weaker left foot, the sort of ball that he wants to be on the end of. In the end, the cross doesn't come to anything. The shot is powder puff, and in the end, Kepa just gathers it comfortably. But just a little warning sign there, boys, that you know what, 2-0 can go to 2-1 very quickly.
As they showed us recently.
Malak started brilliantly there to get underneath the cross. Here's Rudiger inside his own penalty area, moving it on for Azpilicueta. Big 10 minutes now, Tottenham are going for it. Might leave some spaces for Chelsea to exploit at the other end. Whoever gets the next goal
first touch
has a massive influence in the game. If Chelsea get it, it's game over. Here's Hudson-Odoi, got a new man to take on now, who is Doherty. Played it infield looking for Lukaku, headed away by Sanchez. And now Spurs will look to break. Bergwijn can't now. Azpilicueta put his foot in, got a toe to the ball, and Dyer heads it back to Lloris.
Do you know, it's joyous this, because they are going to try and play much higher up the pitch. As you said, you know, space might develop. Space is already developed. They are going to give us space to run into now. It's just who's got enough energy between now and the end of the game. I suspect Thomas will think of some changes too, because you'll need real energy now, because they're going to put everything in the next 10 minutes, Spurs.
If only we had N'Golo Kante on the bench. Oh wait, we've got N'Golo Kante on the bench. Cheat code there if it's needed. But Chelsea doing just fine as they are.
Almost a 5 at the back now with Chelsea. You can see that Aspi's sitting in there. And almost a 6, sorry. Look at Callum's gone in there. Ziyech is sitting deep. You know, we're now expecting a little bit of an avalanche. Tactically, look at the back that we've gone. It is almost a back 6 there.
Here's Eric Dyer inside the centre circle, over halfway, moves it out to the right wing, where it's played back in field by Skip to Moura, and Moura just gives it straight to his Brazilian teammate Thiago Silva. Now Jorginho.
Really, you know, that's good play between Thiago and Kova and Jorginho, just taking the sting out of their press, taking the sting out of their having men forward. They retreat, and we have comfortable possession again over the halfway line. Really well played.
Here's Mount out to Ziyech. Ziyech right wing level with the edge of the box. Slightly heavy touch, managed to offload it to Mount. Mount puts it in first time. Too far for Lukaku. The referee's pulled it back for a foul.
Top referee in that, by the way. That's really good refereeing. He waits to see how it develops. It was a foul. No advantage to Chelsea. Slightly heavy touch from Ziyech, but good referee.
Do you know what I want to see from where we are just now? I want to see Ziyech shoot from where we are just now. No, to see. Yeah, he's almost like on the line with the 18-yard line.
Is the near
really
post
wide.
on? Is the near post on?
Actually, I want him to go for the far post. I think he's good enough now.
Well, we're right behind it where we are at the top of the east stand. Again, it's just a one-man wall, which is Steven Bergwijn.
And they're so deep as a defensive unit there. He can just then zip this towards that back post, and it might not take a touch if it goes in there.
Look how deep they are.
Shortish run-up.
Are they not too deep there, Paul?
That's what I'm saying. That's exactly my line. I think they're miles too deep there, because if I'm playing that ball in there, I know I can aim for the back post and the keeper can't come from it.
It's hard when the free kick is where it is. You've got to be really brave here.
Here is Ziyech whipping it in and flicked over the bar by Kane. Behind for a corner.
Pat called it. Yeah. Pat called it. It's on. And any little flick, Pat, that goes far post.
Yeah, with perfect position. Now, to be honest, there was one beforehand he gave a little bit too much air to, but that one, with the confidence he's playing just now, you've got to try that. Really good play there. Unlucky, corner kick. Right, we just need another goal. We've been greedy. Are we being greedy? No.
I want a bigger cushion.
Let's get another goal, then we can start thinking about goal difference and get a few more. Ziyech gets a hero's ovation from the Matthew Harding stand as he wanders over to the far side to take this corner. One arm in the air, outswinging delivery into the near post. Didn't beat the second man, who was Doherty. Be picked up by Hudson-Odoi. Missed his touch first time, so he has to go back to halfway and then all the way back to Kepa.
Very calm now. One of the good things about Calm, you know, since he's played more defensively a few times, he looks more comfortable back there when he has to get it a little bit deeper. You know, because he's learned all the tricks of the trade of defending, well, not all of them, but certainly some of them. And he looks really calm now. Took no chances, get it back to Kepa.
Here's Davinson Sanchez coming up to halfway. Now Dyer, Chelsea supporters taunting their Tottenham counterparts by singing about Wembley. Here's Winks into Lucas Moura. Chelsea managed to get it back. Jorginho out to Hudson-Odoi. Hudson-Odoi under pressure from Doherty. Hudson-Odoi trying to keep it in, but the ball rolled out of play. Everybody shouts, "That's ours," and the referee gives it Chelsea's way.
A little bit of panic about that Spurs back line, isn't there? You know, you have to get inside their head sometimes. Like, they're going to give it a little bit of a go. They've made an adaptation to the team. They're a little bit more offensive looking, but they also are acutely aware. They've lost 2 in a row, and if they lose a third one against Chelsea, psychologically that's a killer for them.
Here's Sarr, played it infield to Jorginho, just outside the Chelsea box here. Here's Jorginho, and then played to Thiago Silva. Now Jorginho again, up to halfway, looking for Lukaku, but Dyer stepped in.
Lukaku's got to read that for me. Lukaku's got to be live and better to that. You've got to know that looking for that forward pass, you've got to get in front of Dyer and stop him making that run.
Not seen much of Lukaku since half-time. Here's Azpilicueta over halfway, right-hand side, out to Ziyech it goes. Got Mount there with him. Ziyech will step inside though. Oh, almost worked it through for Lukaku. Davinson Sanchez went to ground and just managed to prevent the ball from reaching him. And now Skip turns away nicely from Kovacic. Spurs coming up to halfway. Thiago Silva just puts his foot in front of Bergwijn, takes the ball off him, and then Jorginho gets dumped to the floor.
He does so well, Skip. He does really well, and then the hard part is done. Then keep the ball. Chelsea in possession again on the left-hand side, though.
Hudson-Odoi up against Doherty, puts the cross in, headed away by Sanchez, out as far as Ziyech. Ziyech can have another go here. That time it was easy for Lloris.
Chelsea fans, Pat, now, you do sense there's a little bit of a shift the way the Chelsea fans are viewing Ziyech after his last couple of performances.
Certainly scoring a goal, but that really adds to the fact
Mount's pinched it back off Winks here inside the penalty area. Well, he played it back off Winks, then it spins behind for a corner.
Do you know what, Ziyech? You might be quite confident just now, because that shot was in his right foot. And I don't think I've seen that before.
I agree with that.
Well, Ziyech is trotting over again to the far side to take the corner. Chelsea have had 9 of them. Tottenham haven't had one yet. If we're being specific about the third goal, it'd be nice for Romelu Lukaku to get it. We'll take it however it comes.
Do you know, honestly, you see what's happening with Tony Rudiger down here? It's an absolute joke. He's trying to walk away for the marking. He's just getting rugby tackled at Dyer. I'm trying to see from here. I think it is Dyer. It's just stupid from Dyer. And then says, "Oh, I was doing nothing." Yeah, sure.
Well, Dyer's marked him. I noticed on the set pieces first half, Dyer was man marking him. Yes, it is Dyer. You're right, Pat.
Right then, Ziyech again with the corner. Another outswinger coming up here from the far side, the left. Over it comes. Player goes down inside the penalty area.
Well, they'll have a look at it.
The referee's going to give the free kick Tottenham's way. Azpilicueta it was who tangled with Oliver Skip.
In days gone by, you could say, "Oh, we may get that decision." It's okay, they'll check it again.
Wrestling between the two.
I'm not sure how that is a foul against Azpilicueta. I am absolutely baffled.
Play's restarted. They're not looking at it.
You've just seen
Azpilicueta
being rugby tackled in the middle of the penalty area and get a foul against him for being so rugby tackled.
I wonder whether watch a little bit of Premiership, not Premier League.
Oh, what? By the way, how can you give a free kick against Azpilicueta for that?
Baffling. Oliver Skip, a lucky chap, but the VAR didn't take any time at all to run the rule over that. There wasn't an official review.
Is on fire
ball
again.
From Ziyech through for Hudson-Odoi. Reece has come out to get it, headed it against his own man and got lucky that Doherty is able to clean up, and Doherty then plays it against Hudson-Odoi and it goes behind for a goal kick.
It's a brilliant ball again. Credit to Lloris. I wonder whether, because whenever the keeper comes outside his box, I then think the keeper's there fair game.
Yeah.
I think then you can be brave, go in. I'm not saying go in with your studs up, I'm saying go in there and try and win the ball. He does hesitate momentarily, but at 2-0 up, I suppose maybe you could argue that he doesn't need to risk anything.
We've seen a couple of Chelsea players limber up down there, Marcus Alonso, N'Golo Kante and Kai Havertz, namely. Yet to see a substitution. Of course, we didn't get one till 80 minutes at Brighton on Tuesday. We are 3/4 of the way through this game now. Chelsea leading by 2-0. Both the goals since half-time from Ziyech and Thiago Silva. Another crunching challenge in midfield. It was skip again that time on Tony Rudiger. He's had his Weetabix, Oliver Skip, before he came in. Kepa just about manages to keep his clearance away from Lucas Moura and Malang Sarr.
Yeah, Kepa there was a little bit sloppy with his pass. Know who's closing it down.
Now Lukaku back to goal, trying to roll Sanchez. He's done that. Lukaku gets his shot away, beaten away by Lloris. Wasn't a great angle for him. It's about as close as he's come to a goal today.
Nice
best moment, isn't it? Best moment of the game.
Yeah,
for
nice.
Here's Bergwijn away from Rudiger, plays
We've got man over here. We've got a problem. We've got a problem.
Coming up to the edge of the penalty area. Now he lays it off for the man over, who was Doherty, and Sarr did enough to put him off. Deflection takes it behind for a Tottenham corner there, first of the game.
Pat, we had a problem there. They did not make the most of this. They had an extra man over on the right-hand side. But Lukaku's hold-up play, swivelling, turning Sanchez straight at Lloris. But I've got to tell you, once this ball goes out on their right-hand side, they got a man over. Yeah. I feared the worst. At least the shot on target never came.
Yeah, to be honest, if Sarr actually did make the challenge there, which the referee suggested, but it should have been played at a better pace than that. He shouldn't have given him a chance to do that. We got lucky, you're right.
Corner over on the far side, the right. Davinson Sanchez standing on the goal line. Azpilicueta there with him. Kovacic marking Kane. Over it comes. Dreadful delivery. Didn't beat Hudson-Odoi. Was the first man who clears it out of play for a throw.
Just can't give him a break. Don't want to give any team a break, especially the team that we've been talking about all afternoon. They come late. They score late goals. You know, they'll get a lift out of that belief. But it's not just against Leicester. They did it against Watford, and they did it against Morecambe as well.
Here's Højbjerg for Spurs. 20 minutes and change to play. Chelsea 2 goals to the good. Here's Azpilicueta going out to Ziyech, who's the man of the match at the moment. His goal illuminating a January Sunday afternoon in West London. Mount now, back for Ziyech again. Barged off the ball by Bergwijn. Referee saw nothing wrong with it, but then Bergwijn gives the ball straight to Jorginho. And now here's Mason Mount. Maybe a break on here for Chelsea. Lukaku makes his way into the centre. Mount plays it into midfield for Kovacic. Moved it on first time. Might be able to get it back, not quite. Winks should get this clear for Spurs, although he's under pressure from Kovacic. And Kovacic has a little kick and gives away a free kick.
I'm very happy Kova didn't actually connect completely there, because it seemed a bit of a wild swipe. Away with one there.
Third and final change for Tottenham. We'll see Reguilon come on next time the ball goes dead, which will be now as Tony Rudiger launches it and it nearly hits Jason on the head.
I love that about Rudiger. He knows that perhaps he can deal with that a little easier. And there's a message. Whenever he goes in like that, he's leaving a little bit of a calling card. Yes. I'm happy to go through you if you want to put your foot anywhere near it. I'm going to win it. If you want to do it next time, your foot's you're going with it. That's basically what he's saying there.
Here's Winks in midfield for Tottenham, playing it out to Skip. I think the change didn't get made there in the end. Bergwijn still out there.
See our shape now. You can see that we're a back four, how narrow our back four is. You know, you've got Sarr, you've got Silva, you've got Rudiger, and you've got Aspie. So narrow. But Ziyech is tucking in. On the other side, you've got Callum becoming a left wing back there. You know, defensively, the back line, there is no way through right now.
But I still don't really want it. I want us to be a little bit more positive than that, because we're inviting them on to some degree.
Ziyech gets his head to the ball before Davis can do as Tottenham attack. And Ziyech then works it back to Azpilicueta, but it's been pitched back by Bergwijn. Bergwijn coming back for Højbjerg. Chelsea going to bring on Kante soon. Oh, what a clever pass from Højbjerg. Just didn't quite get it right for Doherty to run on.
Ziyech gets a bit lucky there. I thought he brought it down on his chest. So he's tracked back into that right wing back area. and he's dealt with it well. He's then perhaps been a little cocky, ball down his chest, back heel into Aspi. The ball gets cut out, but in the end, nothing comes of it, and the first sub for Chelsea's happening now.
Yeah, it's Jorginho who's giving way, and N'Golo Kante. Those two both in the FIFA Best Team of the Year this week. Kante coming on to replace Jorginho. Kante, who scored in the reverse fixture at the Tottenham Hotspur Stadium earlier in the season. I mean, as if you can bring N'Golo Kante on as a substitute. It's almost not fair, is it?
I mean, their hearts must sink, really.
So I just noticed there, something's been thrown at Rudiger. Something has been thrown at Rudiger. The Spurs fans down to a left-hand side. Something has been, stuff is being thrown. We saw this, didn't we, the other day? More stuff is now coming on. We saw this at Everton. Rudiger's now throwing the stuff off. The Spurs fans away to our left-hand side there. I don't quite know why or what's happened. Maybe I've missed something.
There's a history with Rudiger and Spurs.
There is. Pat, there is.
That's exactly what
there is. There is.
It's something we don't want to see.
What Rudiger doesn't want to do is get involved in throwing stuff back. He's throwing it now off the pitch, between the pitch and the advertising hoarding.
Well, you can see, look, there's all sorts behind Kepa's goal, isn't there? And the referee is coming over to the fourth official to see if he knows anything about it, and he might well get an announcement made here that this cannot continue, otherwise the game cannot continue.
Well, the other thing you need to do, but they don't. Some of them don't care because they're getting beaten, don't look like they're going to get in out of it. If the game's stopped or abandoned, nothing like that's going to happen. What we need is the Ring of Stewards to come out now and to get in front of that.
Yeah, we're 7 or 6 minutes away from when that normally happens. There may well, Matt, you may well be right here, matey. I think there will be an announcement, or there should be something to say. We heard, and Pat's right, at Everton yesterday, an announcement was made.
Kepa takes the goal kick, he thumps it